This is the Wisconsin.
Hey everybody, welcome into the Wisconsin Live Desk. Haley Spittler here with you at noon on your Friday. We have made it to the end of the work week, and it is a pretty beautiful day here in Milwaukee as we take a live look here from City Center. It's a cloudy day, but for sure we've got the sun shining. I like that blue sky behind the clouds. It's sitting at 78 degrees. High today of 82, and it's going to be another dry one, which go out and enjoy today because that is expected to change, especially as we look at Saturday and Sunday and the early parts of next week. If you've never tuned into the Wisconsin Live Desk before, thanks so much for being here with us today. As I mentioned, I'm Haley Spittler. I'll be with you until 1:30. Then Maddie Stilk is going to take over, and eventually Sam Kramer will as well, as we get you all the way to 4 o'clock. Lots of really good interviews coming up today. I'm excited for several of our guests. I do want to start, though, by heading out to a live event happening right now with President Trump as he actually awards the Artemis II crew the Congressional Space Medal of Honor. So let's go ahead and listen in here together.
As mission specialist on Artemis II, Christina Cook demonstrated exceptionally meritorious service by leading major science and observation tasks during the mission's 7-hour lunar flyby, capturing and documenting impact craters, lava flows, surface fractures, and eclipse phenomena that significantly expanded understanding of lunar geology and solar corona behavior. She configured and oversaw Orion's cabin for flyby operations, including sensor alignment and systems readiness, and executed target Earth-Moon imaging sequences conducted from Orion's optical windows and solar array cameras. Her execution of in-orbit procedures, including participation in the orthostatic intolerance garment test, evaluating human physiological response during return to Earth's gravity, produced critical data that advanced crew health standards on future deep space missions. During the mission, she was integral to the crew surpassing the Apollo 13 distance record and reaching approximately 252,760 miles from Earth, farther than any humans in history. As pilot of Artemis II, Victor J. Glover distinguished himself through exceptionally meritorious performance by commanding and executing guidance, navigation, and control operations throughout launch, translunar injection, and return phases. He led manual control evaluations during Orion's return trajectory operations, validating spacecraft control modes and confirming the spacecraft's piloting characteristics for future missions. He maintained precise control of spacecraft attitude during lunar observation periods, enabling the crew to capture essential scientific imagery and meet mission-critical documentation objectives. His professional skill was further demonstrated during trajectory correction maneuvers and during final atmospheric entry and splashdown, ensuring the mission's safe completion and advancing deep space operational readiness for upcoming Artemis expeditions. During the mission, he was integral to the crew surpassing the Apollo 13 distance record and reaching approximately 252,760 miles from Earth, farther than any humans in history. As commander of Artemis II, Reed Wiseman exhibited exceptionally meritorious leadership in executing the first crewed lunar mission in more than 50 years, commanding and leading the crew through critical pre-launch validations, including SLS RS-25 engine readiness and Orion spacecraft power-up and suit integrity checks. During the mission, he commanded Orion's outbound trajectory, the successful lunar flyby, and detailed geologic observation operations, ensuring the spacecraft remained on the precise course required for the crew to surpass the Apollo 13 distance record and reach a maximum of approximately 252,760 miles from Earth, farther than any humans in history. Under his command, the crew executed return trajectory correction burns, manual control evaluations, and system verification procedures that culminated in a flawless splashdown and safe recovery, advancing the nation's readiness for future lunar surface missions.
Victor, Christina, Jeremy, what an honor to do this with you three. Mr. President, it means a lot that you are here at the Johnson Space Center. It underscores the important work that is going on here in Mission Control in furthering human exploration, the home of our astronauts, the home of flight operations, and Mission Control. Thank you for coming here today. This is awesome. On April 1st, on the launch pad, when we were getting ready to ride this magnificent rocket, the crew said three things. Victor Glover said, "We are going for our families." Many of you are here today. Thank you so much for supporting us. Christina Cook said, "We're going for our teammates." Mr. President, when we were backstage and we heard you mentioning some of those names of those people who sent us on this mission and brought us back safely, that was warming our hearts. Thank you for honoring those people. And then Jeremy said, "We're going for all humanity." When we went around the far side of the moon, which has now been rounded up to 252,760 miles, we'll take it, keep rounding it up. We got to talk to you. You gave us a call. And the one thing that really sticks out to us is you said how proud you are and how proud our nation is of the job that we had just accomplished. And for us, that is what we set out to do. We wanted to inspire this nation and inspire the world, and for us, that showed us we were on the right track, so thank you for that call. We wear these 4 medals, and we are going to wear them with pride, but please know, it is not pride for ourselves that we feel, and I truly mean that. It is pride for the grit that our families had when we left this planet. It is pride for that team, this NASA team, that sent us on this mission, and it is pride for the international community that stood alongside us, got this vehicle ready, operated it, and cheered us on. So thank you for bestowing this honor on us. And in closing, how cool it is to be an astronaut here in Houston and to see our entire astronaut corps standing here supporting us. And behind me, you have the Artemis 3 crew, Randy, Luca, Frank, and Dr. Andre Douglas. And we are so excited to see where Artemis 3 goes and where the rest of this office goes, thanks to your vision and Administrator Isaacson's leadership. Thank you all. I'm going to hand it over to our esteemed pilot, Victor Glover.
So, Mr. President, when we were in your office and you were so gracious to us, lavishing us with gifts and so much of your time, we had mentioned getting you one of these blue flight jackets. And so here we have your jacket today, and you'll notice the NASA, we affectionately call this the NASA meatball. But on the sleeve, you'll see the team that we are a part of in the astronaut office, and that is the Flight Operations Directorate. There's a lot of neat symbology on that patch, and I can explain it to you, or some of the team can later. Underneath that, you have the Artemis II mission patch, which we told you a little bit about, and then you've got 45 and 47 patches, which represent that vision that Reed was talking about earlier. And so we are people of our word, and it is great to be able to give this to you in front of everyone. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Alrighty, I'm so glad we were able to catch the end of that ceremony here from Houston, Texas. Again, President Trump just awarding the Artemis II crew with the Congressional Space Medal of Honor. We missed Jeremy getting his medal, but we did catch the other 3 members being able to receive that Medal of Honor as they now walk off the stage. If you've tuned into the live desk before, I'll say this every time, you know I am a very big fan of Artemis II, that mission and that crew in general, so I will always be so excited whenever we get the chance to see them and hear from them. And I was actually just texting my mom because I asked her to make me an Artemis II crew Halloween costume. That is what I am planning to wear later on this year because I love them so much. So exciting for them on their Medal of Honor there. I want to go ahead and go out to a live event that is happening right now. We've actually sent our crew here to Griffin Collision Repair Center to watch. This is Norm Paminet, who is celebrating his 50th birthday, and what he wanted to do for his 50th birthday here was donate his hair to Locks of Love. So we are about to watch the dramatic moments of this haircut, where about 20 to 25 inches of hair are going to be removed in a matter of minutes. Again, this is how he wanted to celebrate his 50th birthday. As you can see, friends and family also showing up for the occasion. So let's see the moments this haircut happens.
I didn't expect that one.
All right, are we ready to find out what it is?
Are we ready?
$94 in the jar is the inverted mohawk.
It looks like he just found out what his hair is going to be cut into, and it sounds like it's going to be a mohawk.
Hands. All right.
This one might take a minute.
Yeah, that's cool.
All right.
So right now what they're doing is collecting the hair, and then they're going to measure it for Locks of Love, and then they'll arrange the exact spot where they'll cut it so it's a clean cut. If you don't know, Locks of Love is a great nonprofit charity that actually creates wigs for a lot of sick kids who are going through a lot of times, cancer treatments, chemotherapy, where they lose their hair. So they have people donate their locks so that they can create wigs free of charge for all of those children. And obviously, for a lot of people, they hold a part of their identity in their hair, and it can be a hard loss when you're already going through a health journey in itself. They're fighting cancer or an illness like that. So it's a great nonprofit. And again, that is how Norm wants to celebrate his 50th birthday, was to go ahead and cut his hair that I know he's been growing for years, as you can see just how long it is. And again, it sounds like he's going to be getting some sort of a mohawk style for his 50th birthday, which will be, I think, a pretty rad haircut. We'll have to watch. At least we'll try and get you this first cut, as it will be a pretty dramatic one. But again, they want to make sure they measure everything accurately, that the hair is long enough to ultimately go towards that goal of creating a wig, again, for just, children who are experiencing that long-term medical hair loss. So it should be an exciting moment when we see that first cut of hair happen, and we'll bring it to you live right here on the Wisconsin Live Desk. In the meantime, as they kind of collect and arrange his hair, I will keep my eye on this feed, I promise, because we will bring you that first kind of snip live. Did want to raise your attention to a pretty cool thing coming up here in about an hour on the Wisconsin Live Desk. We are going to get to chat with the winner of last year's Milwaukee Mile, Christian Rasmussen. So wanted to let you know about that. But Here it comes, you guys. This is the moment. The haircut is happening. Norm is officially committed. There's no going back now as we watch. Wait, this is dramatic. I mean, they said it was going to be a drastic change here. Don't worry, it's not going to end in this bob, but I appreciate the, like, middle arrangement here. There it is. A lot of hair going towards, again, such a great cause of locks of love. But again, after this, they'll get to that styling portion to create that mohawk. Plenty of hair still to do that. But there it is. He's created the first part of the haircut. That's what's all going to be sipped off and sent over to Locks of Love. We'll keep our eye on this feed, though, and continue to show you the hair transformation happening live right now on the Wisconsin Live Desk. For now, we'll take a very quick commercial break. We'll be right back with more news after this.
This is the Wisconsin Live Desk.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Wisconsin Live Desk. Haley Spittler here with you at 12:17 on your Friday afternoon, and a pretty gorgeous Friday at that as we take a live look from our Esterbrook camera. Again, I just feel like the forecast is showing off a little bit as we look at the beautiful Lake Michigan in the background. Gorgeous blue skies, and again, sitting right now at 78 degrees, high today of 82. Get outside today, especially if you wanted to do any sort of outdoor plans on your weekend. This is the safest chance. We do not have any rain in the forecast for today. That does change as we enter Saturday. But again, certainly a gorgeous day here in Milwaukee. Want to go ahead and get you to our next story here on the Wisconsin Live Desk, and that is that Bandit MKE is celebrating their anniversary. It's the story our reporter Andrew Amuzu has been working on all morning, and really they are celebrating probably more than they ever have after a pretty challenging year for them in the business, Andrew.
Yeah, Haley, really has. And we've been able to share that story all morning long. We'll get more into that story, but right now you mentioned it, that anniversary, 5 years of business on Brady Street. Look at this, Haley. They have a birthday cake right over here, and they have so many decorations as well, inside and outside the store here. Oh, we're getting, okay, some extra help getting the candles lit. We have one more, I think, right? Wait, don't forget this one. Oh, there we go. Okay.
Andrew, sing
and then
happy
we also
birthday for them.
have a lot of. Well, we're about to. It's not just going to be me singing it. We have a whole bunch of people behind me over here that are going to be singing happy birthday. So I guess we can start, right? 1, 2, 3. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday, dear Bandit. Happy birthday to you.
Woo! Roll the candles. Oh, that last one. See, there you go, Haley. And now, I guess, what's next for the cake or this?
Come to Band and get some cake.
There we go. Okay. Yes. Simply put. And so while they get set up, and I know the rest of the shoppers are going to start doing their thing here, we'll sort of describe exactly what we got going on here. So obviously, Bandit MKE, we're seeing a lot of vintage clothing, a lot of thrift shopping, of course, here. But really that story, and this is a group, a business that we have followed along with all morning long and even throughout 2026 this year so far, as far as their story with the U-Haul facility fire, of course, even in January, but also, Haley, in April. We've covered both of them and a handful of many other people and businesses as well, but they had belongings in that building H, which was the building that experienced the most damage in January. They had a locker there completely destroyed, but the rest of their inventory was in building D. Now, building D was the one that experienced the most damage in April, and so that literally, obviously, damaged a lot of their inventory. And really, what they said, especially yesterday, but even this morning that we've been playing out as well, just flattened them. You just don't know how to feel. How do you regroup from that, especially being a small business? And so with those question marks, they also highlighted the community effort in being able to rally together and helping just restore the business overall from that fire. And I know they're not alone, Haley, on this. And so definitely being able to cover that, to see that evolution. And then today with their overstock sale, usually, we have a piece of cake right over here. They just handed me one. So they have an overstock sale this weekend. Is their first one. But typically around this time, they have about 4 to 5 at this time. This is the first one of 2026. So year 4 was definitely a year of craziness. And so they are definitely hoping that year 5 brings more stability. Haley?
Andrew, are you going to give us a live taste test? I mean, they gave you the piece of cake here.
Yeah. I would like to, yes, I would. I definitely would. Oh, okay, Mike's saying I can. Oh, wait, should I just grab, okay, take this. Thank you guys for this cake. And you guys got it from Metro Market, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Andrew getting us the inside scoop of where the cake came from.
Exactly, Haley. Yes. So if you ever want a groovy cake like this one, I'm trying to get like as much icing and the cake on here as possible. Then you can just go to Metro Market and do that. But there's more. Right over there.
Cake for everybody.
Aww.
Ooh.
Chocolate or vanilla.
Haley, this is good.
Yeah, what's the review, Andrew?
Of course.
Anybody else would like a slice?
Chocolate or vanilla?
Hey, this is a 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
And you know me. Well, you know what I have for lunch every single day, and peanut butter jelly sandwich and apple slices.
Yep.
But I'm not really a big, like, sweets guy in general. I'm pretty basic when it comes to that. Vanilla ice cream, that's all I need. Apple pie, that's also all I need. I mean, make sure there's a little mirror here. I don't have any crumbs on me, but this gets the job done. So after this, I'm going to devour this cake. But for now, yes, definitely a story that we've been able to share with the U-Haul storage facility. Haley, I do want to mention one thing as well. They fix my IFB here. We reached out to the Milwaukee Fire Department. And as far as a cause for the fire, they told us they can't even share that right now. And so they told us that we should contact the Milwaukee Police Department and the owners of the U-Haul storage facility. So that's what we did. I gave a call to the Milwaukee Police Department this morning. They said because it's not an arson, they have to redirect me back to Milwaukee Fire. So that's what I did after that. I called Milwaukee Fire right after that. And then I told them what the Milwaukee Police Department said. And they said that they reiterated that they could not tell me a cause for the fire. I also reached out to the general manager of the U-Haul storage facility. He says he does not know what the cause of the fire is. So we are requesting an open records request right now to the Milwaukee Fire Department so we can get that answer and make sure to bring it out to viewers and even those who are impacted by it. So there's that. Definitely wanted to share that information, Haley.
Yeah, again, that's a question we've had now for months, and we are still working to get those answers. Yes. Certainly, we are being proactive and putting those requests in, and as soon as we have any information, we're going to pass it along to our viewers. Obviously, fire is a part of the story here for Bandit MKE, but getting to celebrate that they've made it to another year of being a business, especially when things got so difficult for them with these fires. I mean, it's, yes, certainly a reason to celebrate. Remind us kind of what they're doing. Tell me about this overstock sale again, Andrew.
Yeah, well, I guess we could probably show and tell right outside. I'll follow you, Mike. And if one of you guys want to follow me out as well. Okay, can I put... There we go. I got to get a birthday hat on as I walk outside here. We're followed by one of the co-owners here, Michelle Eggenberger. And you're seeing the layout here. Can you sort of explain the overstock sale and how did we get here?
Yeah, totally. So we acquire tons of vintage throughout the year, and there's always going to be stuff that we can't sell in the store. And we don't want to throw anything away. We want to have a chance for people to come and get something for cheap. So we've got bins, organized bins full of $5 stuff. We've got a rack of $10 things. You can get anything from like workout tops and sweaters and shorts to like a winter coat or like a blazer, some cool t-shirts, and we've got $2 jewelry. So
there's also a wheel too, right?
Yeah. If you spend $50, you can spin the wheel full of prizes from local businesses, some Bandit gift cards. You can just spend your whole day on Brady.
Wow. Yeah. And I know a question someone might ask is, okay, we see these bins here. Where did they come from? These were not the ones in the U-Haul storage facility, right?
Literally every last thing that we used for an overstock sale went into the dumpster. We had to buy all new bins. We had to buy new tables. Just like new garment racks, like every bit of infrastructure. It's not just like the clothes and the inventory we lost. It's the things that allow us to have a business, like, garment racks, tables, bins.
Wow. And even yesterday when we spoke with you all, you guys emphasized how much an overstock sale really means to your business, starting all the way back in 2021, which that was a crazy time of its own. Can you reiterate just the importance of an overstock sale, especially for Bandit MKE? I know Liz, she even mentioned how when she was getting ready, it felt like old times. What does that mean, especially when it comes to the impact of Bandit MKE?
For sure. I mean, before we had a storefront, we were COVID summer 2020, we were just doing this in Liz's backyard in Bayview, and people were like, where's your storefront? Where's your storefront? And we're like, we don't have one. And then we're like, maybe we should get one. And now we have one, and we like going back to our roots that way. And like, everybody likes to get a deal, stuff a bag full of stuff. Like, we're playing dress up over here. I love it. Just come and spend a little bit of cash. No big deal, right?
Yeah. And what does year 5 mean to you? I mean, obviously we think about year 4. What are your goals for year 5? Don't tell us what you wish for at the birthday cake over there, because you don't want to do that. But what are some of the goals for year 5, especially coming after year 4?
Totally. And I think year 5 is going to be kind of our rebuilding year. We're going to find opportunities to, stay connected with the community, to connect with new customers, and to really celebrate vintage and like resale clothing, like keeping clothes in the community, giving back to the community, giving people some cash for their clothes if they want to bring them in too, like just keeping everything local, secondhand, reuse, recycle, right? So, yeah.
Yeah, I will say, Michelle, we have the past couple days, we've reported on college move-in. We've done a whole lot of that. There's also a tie with the colleges and getting the word out too.
For sure. Like we love the opportunity every year to see a whole new class of people come to Milwaukee, and maybe they've never been here, maybe they don't know about the neighborhoods off of campus. Just a chance to come and explore different parts of Milwaukee outside of that little bubble.
Yeah. And it's Friday through Sunday.
Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and we're open noon till 6.
There you go. That's the details. Those are the details right there. Overstock sale. It's going to be out here, and you're definitely seeing a wide variety, even some jewelry here as well, and of course the birthday cake that. The birthday cake as well that I don't want to go bad, Haley. So definitely look forward to having the rest of this.
He doesn't want it to go bad, so we will let you go, Andrew, so that you can enjoy the rest of your birthday cake. But we do appreciate you bringing us inside and outside Bandit MKE, again, as they celebrate year 5 after overcoming not 1, but 2 of those U-Haul storage fires, losing a lot of their product and inventory. Andrew Amuzu reporting live for us right here in Milwaukee. Thanks, Andrew. Okay, want to quickly get us back out live. This is Norm, and if you're remembering, Norm was getting his hair cut for his 50th birthday. I guess this is an inverted mohawk. I didn't know what it was going to look like. If you were here just a few minutes ago, he had very long, gorgeous hair. He cut it off for Locks of Love. Maybe we can hear some of his reaction here to the new do.
All right, can you just say and spell your name for me?
Norman Pamanet, Normanpamanet, Jr. Born and raised and still live in Bayview, Wisconsin.
You just look right at me, Norma.
Doing this for a good cause. Ask me whatever you need.
How do you feel now getting out of that?
My head feels a lot lighter. Don't have so much going on in the back.
When was the last time you felt bruise like this on your scalp?
4 years ago. Yeah, we actually did this 4 years ago. I knew I was going to shave my head, so I let my boss, Dean, this guy over here, know that I was going to shave my head, and he asked if I had ever thought about donating it to Locks of Love. I had thought about it, but I didn't know how to go about doing it because since I was like 6 or 7, I'd never been to a barber. So I would just let like friends' mothers cut my hair or people I trusted to take care of my hair. So he said he knew somebody that would get in touch with Locks of Love. She's a professional hairstylist. So 4 years ago, I told him to set it up. We did the same thing, 5 jars, 5 different haircuts. And the haircut that won last time was basically like a George Costanza. It was hair on the sides and, Seinfeld. And I figured in 4 years, I let him know we'll do it again. And here we are.
So this is your second time doing it?
Second time doing it for Locks of Love, yeah.
Gotcha, all right. When I saw you in that chair, you were getting really emotional. It looked like, what was going through your mind?
It's always a bit strange cutting my hair because I've had long hair since before I can remember, since I was a young boy. It just feeling the weight from the hair falling it's a lot. Just a lot. That's all.
Is hair something that means a lot to you?
I'm Native American. I've had long hair for...
Again, listening here to Norm explain why he decided to donate his hair to Locks of Love today. We watched him have his hair cut live here on the Wisconsin Live Desk, turned into this inverted mohawk, although we all are wondering behind the scenes if he's just going to shave off the rest of his hair after today. But again, certainly doing a great thing to ring in year 50. Locks of Love makes wigs free of charge for children who are experiencing hair loss, really long-term hair loss because of medical situations. So a lot of times it's actually kids who are fighting cancer and going through chemotherapy. So an amazing thing that he did today by supporting those kiddos and cutting his hair for year 50. We're going to take a quick break here on the Wisconsin Live Desk, and we'll be back with more news right after this.
This is the Wisconsin Live Desk.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Wisconsin Live Desk. Haley Spittler here with you at 12:34 on your Friday afternoon. And as we were saying before, an exciting day here on the Wisconsin Live Desk as we get ready to chat with the winner of last year's Milwaukee Mile, Christian Rasmussen, going to be joining us here in less than an hour at 1:15. And we actually want you guys to be a part of the conversation. So we would love if you would send us your questions right now for Christian. Again, he is the victor of last year's Milwaukee Mile. So you can send us those questions by either scanning that QR code, which is on the left-hand side of your screen, or by heading right now to fox6now.com/connect. We will get to as many questions as we can. But it's always fun for me when it's not just my questions that are being asked, but also you guys, so you can be a part of the conversation here on the Wisconsin Live Desk. But again, it's certainly a very exciting week as we get ready for the Milwaukee Mile, which happens on the State Fair Park grounds. So I want to go ahead and bring in Tim McCormick, who is joining us live via Zoom. He's got the gear on. He's ready. An exciting weekend, Tim.
Already, we just opened up the gates maybe about a half hour or so ago. We've got a fan fest scheduled with Al Unser Jr., INDYCAR legend, taking place at 1 o'clock here. I know you've got the interview with Christian Rasmussen, but maybe after everybody tunes in for that, they can head on down and start joining us for the weekend.
Oh, absolutely. Because again, yes, we've got some practice runs happening today. And of course, double headers. So you have 2 different days where you can watch a race happen. We should just go to West Dallas and see them in person. But if people have plans and they can't make it out, they can also watch the races right here on Fox 6. We've got them covered either in person or by turning the TV screen on. But I mean, how exciting is it really for the Wisconsin State Fair and your grounds, the park here, to get to host this race every week or year?
So, full admission here, I have to say that I was unable to join the race last year, had some vacation scheduled previously. So this is my first taste, and I had high expectations going in, but they have blown away my expectations. It's amazing to see all these, it's like a reunion when you get all these race drivers coming together. An amazing opportunity to see some vintage Indy cars. I'm not sure if you got to tune in earlier. Brian Cramp joined us for some fun. An amazing event that will be taking place, the only doubleheader on the schedule for INDYCAR this year. So we've got twice the action, twice the adrenaline. We're hoping that you can come join us today. Again, great practice sessions out on the track, but also some great opportunities to get to that Fan Fest forum. There's also autograph sessions. Head to wistatefair.com for the full schedule. But then on Saturday and Sunday, like you said, 2 big races coming up, the Makers and Fixers on Saturday, and then the Snap-on 250 on Sunday. Just an incredible weekend out here in West Dallas.
It's funny because I used to think that I wasn't really into, car racing. I'm no expert by any means, but I was looking up the clip of Christian winning last year. I was glued to it. Like, I could not keep my eyes away, and I knew the outcome. I knew Christian was going to take the lead here. And I'm like, this would be so fun for anyone to go and get to see, especially in person. Tell me about the history, because, I mean, this has been happening here in Milwaukee for a while now.
This is, I am in the infield of the Milwaukee Mile, which you may or may not know is the oldest continuously operating motor speedway in the world. So it actually opened up way back in the 1800s as a horse racing track, had our first motorized car races in 1903, and have been going strong ever since. We had a little break where Indy wasn't making a stop in Milwaukee on their calendar. They have now since made those stops since 2024. Last year, we had another great race, as you were mentioning, with Christian Rasmussen. And our great friends at Snap-on just signed on for 5 more years. So you can get more fans excited, marking their calendars, finding out when those dates are, and making their way to Wisconsin. That race that you're talking about was the topic of conversation at our little media luncheon yesterday. What he did and how many cars he passed. It was really, he was saying, it was indicative of the Milwaukee Mile, that you're never really out of the race.
Yeah.
As you saw, he was pretty far behind, did some great maneuvering to take first place. And I'm going to try to get my question into the Fox Now app. But if you could ask him what his car smelled like after the victory, I think you'll have a nice little chuckle at his response.
Oh, I love this. Okay, I'm writing it down, and I'll pull up that QR code later so we can get more of our viewers' questions as well, Tim, because, yes, these are the kind of things that I like to hear, and that's a funny, clearly you know the answer, and it's going to be a good one that we'll get from Christian. But to your point, brave driver. When I was watching some of these maneuvers, he is fearless, and I certainly could not do his job, so hats off to him. But tell me, this has to have some sort of an impact here for the Milwaukee community, even for the state of Wisconsin, having these races here.
I think we had Governor Evers out as our flag bearer maybe a year or two back, because they do recognize everybody. We had Mayor Johnson out here yesterday for that media luncheon that I mentioned. They realize how effective this is for sports fans. I've met people from Germany, from New Zealand already, and it's only Friday, like the races really haven't begun in earnest. But that economic impact for southeastern Wisconsin is huge. So yes, we've invested in those improvements on track. I know a lot of our friends and neighbors who are hoteliers or hosting their Airbnbs, or even I saw a whole race crew head out to impact throughout the region because of the historic nature of the mile and how much fun it can be to see these races in person.
Yes. Oh, absolutely. And I know for some of these drivers, they really like, in my research I've learned, Tim, these short oval tracks, which is what we have here in Milwaukee. So I think that this will be certainly, like we said, a very fun weekend to catch the doubleheader. 2 races. For anyone thinking, yes, this is what I want to do with my weekend, how do we get tickets?
Head to wistatefair.com, but please hurry. Tickets are going fast. We have limited seats available, but we would love to have you join us. Again, Friday, great for fan interaction with those racers. And then obviously we're going to have hot tracks all throughout Saturday and again, all throughout Sunday. You can't beat it. You can't miss it.
Absolutely. Tim McCormick here joining us again on the Wisconsin Live Desk. Tim, you are the best. It is always a pleasure to get to chat with you, and we hope you have the best weekend with the Milwaukee Mile back in town. So excited to get to watch all of these IndyCar drivers, and I want to go ahead and pull up the QR code one more time as we were talking about getting to chat with Christian again, the driver who won last year in impressive fashion. Again, I think he was in 7th place, and in a matter of laps, he overtook the leader to be in that 1st place slot and then held it for the remaining 15 laps to get his first victory of the season last year. So send us your questions for Christian. We're going to get to as many as we possibly can. Again, you can submit them by either going to fox6now.com/connect or by scanning that QR code right there on your left-hand side of your screen. Our producers are keeping our eye on all of those questions as they get submitted. And again, we will try and get to as many as possible in the time that we have with Christian coming up here in just about 30 minutes. All right, we're going to take a quick commercial break here on the Wisconsin Live Desk. Back with more news after this.
This is the Wisconsin Live Desk.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Wisconsin Live Desk. Haley Spittler here with you at 12:44. Leaving this QR code up, we've started getting some of your question submissions. So just in case you were forgetting what the kind of a website was or where the QR code was, wanted to pop it up one more time for you here. fox6now.com/connect or scanning that QR code on the left side of your screen. Right now, we are collecting questions for Christian Rasmussen. Again, that is the 2025 winner of the Milwaukee Mile. I am so excited to get to chat with him here on the Wisconsin Live Desk in just a little bit because, again, as I watched his victory in that race from last year, it is so impressive, some of the maneuvers that he was able to do. He is a brave and aggressive driver, and I can't wait to see what he has up his sleeve for this race weekend, which here's your reminder that it is this weekend, the Milwaukee Mile. So you can watch actually two races. It's a double header, so there'll be two winners. You can watch the Saturday race at 1:30. You can watch the Sunday race at noon right here on Fox 6 or by going to West Dallas and being at the Wisconsin State Fair Park grounds. That's where the race is going to be. Limited tickets still available. Okay, talking sports here with INDYCAR Racing. Now we're going to switch gears and talk some football. Want to go ahead and bring in our reporter Ben Hansen joining us from the football field, Ben. And I know for a lot of us as we get to this time of year, we might be thinking of the Green Bay Packers, but there are more teams than just that to celebrate. Tell me a little bit about the Racine Raiders.
Yeah, it's very easy to argue that the Racine Raiders are the hottest team in Wisconsin right now, especially the hottest pro football team. The Racine Raiders are a pro football team here in Racine. Of course, they have won the league championship the past 3 of their 4 seasons. They just won their most recent championship 2 weeks ago on August 15th. They have an exhibition game coming up in September, and then also their championship game for the entire Midwest area is coming on up in early October. So they have a lot to look forward to, but they've been on a crazy winning streak right now. Like I said, they've won 3 of their last 4 seasons. So I wanted to take the time to sit down and talk to 2 players on the team just about this season, but also the exhibition game and the championship game you guys have coming up. I got Sawyer and Brady here, the QB for the Racine Raiders and the kicker. Guys, with this championship win under your belt from 2 weeks ago, how does that feel?
Awesome. I mean, we talked about it earlier, but it's just the reason you play the game is to win, right? And just to be able to come away at the end of the season saying we won the championship, it's awesome. It just means all the hard work you put in really paid off.
Yeah, and I mean, it's hard to not see this, the rings that Sawyer has on his hand right now. These are from what, the past 2 seasons then?
Yes, 2023 and then 2024.
Okay.
We won both our national championship rings.
Okay, you got to flaunt it, right?
Yeah.
It only makes sense. And I want to go back to the championship game that you guys had 2 weeks ago. What was the name of the league that you guys, the championship game that you won?
This MWF, Midwest United Football League.
Okay, and you guys won that in kind of an exciting fashion. Brady, you kicked the game-winning field goal with about a minute left in the 4th quarter. Can you talk to me where you were on the field, how much time was left in the game, and kind of what was going through your head?
Yeah, the ball was spotted kind of just inside the 30-yard line. Offense was driving. We were running the ball pretty well. We got stalled out on 2nd down, and right then and there I'm like, okay, it might come down to a field goal. 3rd down, same thing. Took a timeout, about a minute left in the game. And it's like, all right, this is real. We got to go make a kick here. Hopefully end it. And that's what happened.
Yeah. I mean, what goes through your head? Because I've been involved in sports in college. And if I was just like, it's just me. I am the sole decider if we win this game or not. And you're sitting on the sidelines knowing, okay, well, they're driving down the field. This could come to me in the end. What's going through your head? I know that you said Sawyer was talking to you a little bit on the side of the field during that time.
Yeah, my teammates are all just hype me up on the sideline. Like, you got this, you can do it. And it's just trying to stay calm. Don't let emotions get the best of you. Just stay even keel all the way through, and then just go out there and do what you're supposed to do and make a kick. And I knew the snap hold protection was going to be good, so there's less to worry about than just kick the ball.
Yeah. And I was talking to you guys about this fan base that you've built up with the Racine Raiders, and you were talking about how they even pack the opposing team's stand a little bit to chirp them a little bit during games. That's hilarious. I mean, tell me a little bit about the team environment that you guys have here when you have a home game, like you'll have in this exhibition game that you have coming up.
Yeah, we usually draw close to 1,000 people in attendance, but you know, gates open at 5. There's usually people tailgating in the parking lot around 4:30, waiting to get in, you know, drinking a little bit, having some food. But the fans are awesome. Fans are loyal. We'll have community events out. Like last weekend, there was one at the beach, and people come stop by the tent, go, I was at the championship game. I've been coming to Raiders games for the last so-and-so years. It's just awesome to see the community rally around us, too, and we appreciate it so much.
Yeah. And how exciting is it? I know with the game in early October, you guys are going to be in Indianapolis, but you have this exhibition game coming up. You get one more time this season to have an opportunity to play here at home in front of your fans. What does that mean to you guys?
Anytime you can play in front of your home fans at home, it's a blessing. Really, I mean, we have a great environment here with, you know, the fans that come in and the volunteers that help run the operation here. But even just being able to play at such a historic field, such as Horlick Field, it's always awesome.
Yeah, and I mean, like I was saying before, you guys, so much success in the past 4 seasons. If you had to attribute it to a couple things on the team or how your team works, what would you say is making you guys able to come out here and get these rings?
Yeah, I'd say we're very player leadership based. Yep. We have a lot of guys that, you know, like Brady and I started 4 years ago playing, but even, you know, so we're kind of some vets on the team, but, you know, we have guys on the team that have been playing for the last 15 years that just don't want to give it up and love playing the game so much. So I think that's probably the main focus of what's helped the product on the field be so great the last few years is just the player leadership on the team.
And tell me a little bit more about that bond on the team. I know you guys, during the season, you practice all the time, so you're together all the time. Are there any other things, fun things that you guys do outside of practicing on the field that you've made great memories with for the rest of these players on the team?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of us get together and, you know, even just watch some of the Packers or Bucks or go to a Brewers game or, you know, just get together, you know, go bowling one night, just go have drinks somewhere. It's just, you know, these become some of your really good friends, and you just want to keep spending time with them, and that just attributes to the team chemistry too. It's just as much time as you spend off the field with each other helps the time on the field.
Yeah. And with this championship game coming up in early October, you have this exhibition game to prepare, but what else is going through your head in this time when it's a big game ahead and you still have kind of a good amount of time before you have to step on the field and play?
Yeah. Just for any of us too, it's, you know, you just got to keep your body moving during this time because we're not practicing for a few weeks. But, you know, even just remembering the playbook, going through things, just making sure you're still in football mode, I guess I'd say.
Stay game ready. Even if there's no game, just stay game ready.
Yeah.
Have that mindset every week.
Yeah. I mean, do you guys have like a mantra that you follow or some like guidelines or I guess what should I say, like standards on the team that you guys have to kind of build that mindset that you've been so successful with?
It's kind of a tough one to answer. I mean, everyone just so self-driven on the team too. Like you don't need someone to tell you, hey, you have to stay up to date with the playbook, or you have to keep watching film on your own, or hey, you have to come to practice. You know, everyone's just so self-driven because we're all here to win, right? And so that helps a lot. And just, I'd say that it's just, we know the history of this program, and we don't want to be the ones to stray away from that history, I guess I should say.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're all here to win, and that just drives each and every one of us every day.
And tell me about that bond a little bit that you guys have on the team. I mean, you guys have been together on this team for 4 years now. That time has to mean something in between you guys on this team. What is the bond like between you guys?
Yeah, it's awesome. I mean, we hang out even outside of football itself. You know, even in the off season, it's, hey, what are you doing? Come over and watch the game.
Yeah.
But a lot of guys are. I mean, we have guys from north side of Milwaukee, Fond du Lac area, Madison area, south side of Chicago. We're not just Racine and southeast Wisconsin based. It's kind of a little all over the place, but when we do come together, we have a good team chemistry.
Mm-hmm. And I have to ask, with this championship game coming up in early October, I mean, the answer might be obvious, but what is your outlook for it? Who are you hoping to play? Because I know the matchup is still undecided with the other side of the bracket, who you guys will play. Break that down a little bit for me.
Yeah, we're thinking we're going to play the Indy Bison. They're based out of Indianapolis, Indiana, so it'll kind of be a home game for them, just because they won't have to travel as far as we will. Yeah. But no, we've played them 2 of the last 3 years, going back these past couple of years, and they're a good physical team.
Yeah.
But we're excited to get the chance to play them again, and even go down to Indiana to play them for a trophy.
Yeah. And the past 3 times you said you've played them, how often in the past seasons?
We played them in 23 and 25.
Okay. And what were the outcomes in those games?
We won the first one 21-0, and then last year I think we won 30-0, 30-2.
Okay. So it looks pretty good for you guys, is what I'm hearing.
You never know. You never know. They're a really good team. I mean, they won a game this year, I think 90-0.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, really? Wow.
Yeah, they're a really good football team, and like I said, they're very physical. So every year that, it's not like the Packers, how you're going to have Jordan Love on the team for the next 15 years. It's, personnel is always changing, but no, we're excited to play them again. It should be fun.
Yeah. Okay, well, thank you guys so much for your time today. Again, this is Racine Raiders. They're playing in an exhibition game. What was that? When was that exhibition game in September, you guys?
September 26th at home at Horlick Field, 6 o'clock.
26th. And if you really want to make the drive, if you're really dedicated to this team, they play in Indy on October
3rd, 7 p.m. Eastern.
Beautiful. Yeah. It been a blast to talk to these guys today, really understand what this team is about. Yeah. And we might even throw the football around here in a little bit, Haley.
Oh, you can't tease us like that, Ben. Now you have to show off a football skill before we let you go on the Wisconsin Live Desk. Go long.
Oh my gosh. Okay, they're asking for a throw. So do you want to throw it to me downfield? Okay. Beautiful. Okay, what kind of route are you thinking? Do you have an idea in mind for me?
What do you want?
I'm thinking 15 out and angled up. I don't know the terminology for sure. What is that?
Post route.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, you ready, Haley?
We're
doing
so
this.
ready. Here he goes. He's dropped the mic. I'll do the commentary for Ben Hansen here. He's a stance. We're running. I don't know if he's stretched. Don't pull anything, Ben Hansen. We're going. Oh, my goodness. He didn't make the catch. Dropped it at the last second. But you know what? He gave it.
Just like a button hook or something.
He gave it his all. And that's all we can really ask for, Ben. As he makes his way back to the microphone, we're going to have to get his reactions because that was a little embarrassing, Ben.
That was a perfect throw from Sawyer. It couldn't have been more perfect. Do you want to try one more time? Sure. Okay, we'll try one more time.
Okay, take 2.
Okay, here we go, Haley. We're going to get this time. Ready?
They say practice makes perfect, Ben. That was your practice route, and now we're going to do it for real. This is the game time. He's going, he's running. We're going to go for the catch. Okay. Victory into the end zone. Ben Hansen catching a touchdown. Maybe he will be a Racine Raider next season. That is some championship-like moves and a catch right there for a team going to compete here. Good job, Ben.
Again, absolutely amazing throw. I think that's going to end it because I'm out of breath right now. Throw it back to you, Haley.
Ben, that was incredible. What a fun ending there to his live shot. We're so proud of him. You know what? He just showed us. Practice makes perfect. If at first you don't succeed, try again into the end zone, catching the pass, scoring some points right here on the live desk. Honestly, I was impressed that he wasn't out of breath the first time. The second time, again, it makes sense. You just did a lot of running. There was pressure. We were watching him live, and he absolutely performed and showed up for us. We are going to take a quick break here on the Wisconsin Live Desk. We'll be back with more shenanigans, but also news and weather coming up right after this.
This is the Wisconsin Live Desk.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Wisconsin Live Desk. It's Haley Spittler here with you at 1 o'clock on your Friday afternoon. And as we have been talking about really for the past hour, we are getting so excited for the Milwaukee Mile to take place right here in West Allis this weekend. Got races on Saturday and Sunday. You can catch them here on Fox 6. You can also catch some Saturday night baseball. Want to go ahead and bring in Steve Bender, a Fox weather meteorologist. He's got our forecast for some of these very important events that we're monitoring. Steve.
Hey, Haley, thank you for having me. Yeah, two-day event, INDYCAR race in the Milwaukee Mile, exciting Saturday and Sunday. Here's the weather implications, though. As we look at the Rotary report, the risk of weather impact, we have a Ridge Rider effect. And we'll talk about what that means ultimately there in Milwaukee. Afternoon storms that could set up. It looks like light rain, but we know for INDYCAR, anything more than a drizzle, that could lead to a delay or postponement. And so what we're going to be looking at overall is when is the onset of that rain. For the Milwaukee Mile, it starts at 2 p.m. Eastern. Here's the good news. For the most part, for the early portion of the race, just cloud cover, gloomy skies, temperatures, pair of sevens, dynamic, right? That's perfect. The final hour, that's the concern. We have some rain that starts to build back in, wind derived out of the south. So breezy conditions at best. Truly the biggest concern is going to be the rain. Then we fast forward into Sunday, and we look like a rinse and repeat pattern. Haley, that's a big thing with a Ridge Rider. It's all driven by this dominant high pressure to the south. Until that thing budges, you're going to be stuck in that pattern time and time again. I bet you Tom Walks has been diving deeper into that on his overall forecast. Looking at this is going to be Sunday, 2 p.m. Again, the onset of this is going to be late into the afternoon. That's the window of time. Notice that we don't see any lightning. This isn't going to be dynamic or severe thunderstorms. It's just that light rainfall. Again, mid to latter half of the race ultimately is when that could unfold as the wind is stiff out of the south and southwest. So that's the Milwaukee Mile. And as we kind of show you the overall risk for severity of storms, we'll notice that for Saturday, all the severe storms are out to the south. This is Sunday where you kind of get that lingering impact as it gets closer to Milwaukee. I do want to jump into potentially what you're going to see else on Fox for big sports. As you mentioned, baseball. We do have a showdown in the Bronx as we have the Red Sox taking on the Yankees. Yankees here at Yankee Stadium, home field advantage, and you couldn't ask for better weather. This is going to be Saturday night, so after the Milwaukee Mile, as you hang out on Fox, you'll be able to probably check out what's going to go down. Both of these have a chance, of course, as we look at playoff implications, and both of them are in the hunt. And so you're looking at temperatures, absolutely dynamic here. Could not get better, Haley, as they're into the mid-70s, and then by the end of the game, upper 60s. So for us here in the Northeast, we have nice conditions over the weekend. Early next week, same Ridge Rider effect that's impacting you there in the Midwest and Milwaukee will impact us. But for you, it's all about the Milwaukee Mile, and we'll be watching that closely. As of right now, it's only 1 hour with some light rain, and that does look like a good opportunity for INDYCAR racing to be able to do just fine on Saturday and Sunday.
All right, so we will have our fingers crossed that the forecast stays the way it is, that we can get this double header in, because I know a lot of people so excited to go down to the racetrack to get to watch not one, but two races this weekend. But certainly we're looking good Saturday night when it comes to our Saturday night baseball forecast here, Steve.
Yeah, Saturday night baseball is dynamic. The good thing about the Ridge Rider effect ultimately is it's that afternoon window where you expect storms. At night, when you're talking about baseball, the atmosphere cools, it stabilizes, and then you get pristine conditions like this, even if you're in the Midwest. So a great opportunity for some baseball, but really just any big events that are going down in Wisconsin and Milwaukee over the next several days.
All right, Steve Bender joining us here live. We appreciate it, and we always love a Tom Walks shout-out, so we'll pass that one along, our chief meteorologist there. Thanks so much, Steve. Again, certainly the big story of the weekend for us is the Milwaukee Mile. Want to pull up our QR code again, because we are chatting with Christian Rasmussen here in just about 10 minutes. Again, that is the victor of the 2025 Milwaukee Mile, and we want to hear from you guys. We've seen some of your submissions already come in. Thank you so much. Keep sending them in. We want you to be a part of the conversation. So to send any questions to Christian, just head to fox6now.com/connect or scan that QR code right there on your screen. We're going to take a quick break here on the Wisconsin Live Desk. We'll be back with more after this.
This is the Wisconsin Live Desk.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Wisconsin Live Desk. I keep accidentally leaving this Connect with Us up, so here's another shout out to get your questions in for Christian, the 2025 Milwaukee Mile winner. We are less than 10 minutes out now to that conversation. So again, you can send them by heading to fox6now.com/connect or by scanning that QR code on your screen. I promise to not accidentally leave that up the next time we come back from a commercial break. But I did want to just preview a couple of things we have up our sleeves for the rest of Wisconsin Live Desk, because we are live and local until 4 o'clock. So, of course, we've mentioned this one, 1:15. That is less than 10 minutes away. We are chatting with Christian Rasmussen, the winner of the Milwaukee Mile last year. I can't wait to kind of talk to him about that race specifically. Of course, we'll ask him a myriad of questions, but some of the maneuvers that he made to go from 7th to 1st in a matter of laps were insane. A ton of just impressive skills, aggressive driving, and a bravery that I myself do not have. So that is coming up. We're going to have several of our reporters join us here on the Wisconsin Live Desk as well, chatting with Maddie. So we'll hear from Ashley, we'll hear from Jason, and of course, Tim Van Voren, our sports director, are going to be joining us here to talk Packers. Taking a live look here at Lambeau. We have our Packers preseason finale coming up later on tonight as the Packers take on the Cardinals. They had their kind of only practice with another team already earlier this week against the Cardinals. Of course, Matt LaFleur taking on his own brother there, the head coach of the Arizona Cardinals. So again, excited to chat with TVV, and that just means we are 1 week closer to the regular season of the NFL. I know for some of you guys, you're preparing to do your fantasy football drafts. I already did my fantasy football draft. Actually, I didn't get a single Green Bay Packer this year or a single Chicago Bear. So I have a lot of new players to learn about, but it's going to be exciting to have the NFL season back with us in just a little bit. Also wanted to let you know another major thing that we are, of course, monitoring for you here on the Wisconsin Live Desk, the Lindsey Clancy trial. We continue to be in kind of the jury waiting period. Right now they are deliberating. They're on day 2 of those deliberations. No verdict has been reached yet. Of course, if a verdict is reached, we will bring it to you live right here on the Wisconsin Live Desk. But we are once again going to be chatting with our kind of legal expert here, criminal defense attorney Jonathan Lavoie, about this trial. As I mentioned, the jury was dismissed even before 4. I think it was around 3:30 yesterday after the judge said they had a long day. They went home. They got their rest. They showed back up to court this morning. We know they asked a question. We don't know what that question was. The judge did not make it known to the public or the media, but then since then they have continued to deliberate. So we are in that kind of waiting game. You never know in a case like this how long it could take. I know I always bring up Alec Murdaugh and his murder trial. That was a case that we anticipated the trial lasting 3 weeks. It lasted 6 weeks. So then we assumed that maybe the jury deliberations would take a long period of time, and it only took 3 hours. Well, we are well past that here for Lindsey Clancy's trial. But again, you just never know when that verdict is going to be reached. But I know a lot of you have questions about this case and whether or not, the jury is going to find her guilty either of murder or, of course, the lesser charge of manslaughter, or if they're going to acquit her to say that she wasn't in control of her body or her mind due to that postpartum psychosis that her defense brought up. So all the options still on the table as we wait for that verdict, and we'll break it all down with our criminal defense attorney again, Jonathan Lavoie, joining us at 3:30. I know when Maddie takes over, she will also ask you guys to send your questions for Jonathan. So start thinking of them now, and then when Maddie joins the live desk, she'll start collecting those the way that we are currently collecting questions right now for Christian. So we are just a few minutes out. I'm going to pop up the QR code one more time here for you, give you one more chance. If you're like me, sometimes I really like to think it over. I really want to choose the best one. So if you've been doing that and you haven't submitted yet, here is your opportunity. Just go on and head to fox6now.com/connect or scan that QR code and send us your questions to ask of Christian. We'll be chatting with him here in just a few minutes. For now, we'll take another quick break here on the live desk, get you out to that interview after this.
This is the Wisconsin Live Desk.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Wisconsin Live Desk. Haley Spittler here with you at 1:15 on your Friday afternoon, and we'll take another live look right now in downtown Milwaukee from our city center camera. Looks like the sun might be hiding behind a cloud for now, but again, the good news, forecast looking very strong for your Friday. 80 degrees right now, high of 82. We do have some of those rain chances in the forecast Saturday and Sunday, as well as parts of next week. So definitely get out and about tonight and enjoy the dry weather while we have it. Well, we have been talking about it really for the last hour or so, but of course we are getting ready for the Milwaukee Mile this weekend. Want to go ahead and bring in Christian Rasmussen, of course, the 2025 victor of the Milwaukee Mile. Thanks so much for taking a few minutes to chat with us here, Christian.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
I mean, I got to start with, how does it feel to be back in Milwaukee?
Yeah, it feels great. You know, it's always nice to come back into a weekend where you know that you're strong. Obviously, with getting the win here last year, this is a place where we know that we are. And yeah, it just feels good to be back. I like Milwaukee, and yeah, looking forward to see what we can do this weekend.
Do you feel any new pressure to be in Milwaukee coming off the win last year to try and, bring it back this time, or just feeling good vibes right now?
No, just good vibes. I think, obviously as a race car driver, there's always pressure. That's nothing new going into this weekend. I think if anything, it just gives me confidence to know what we did here last year, and hopefully we can do something similar this year. And if it doesn't happen in race one, we'll have a chance again at it on Sunday for race two.
That's right. That is kind of the beauty there of the doubleheader. You have two chances to walk away victorious. Christian, I definitely want to have you just walk us through last year's victory, because it is absolutely insane what you did. I mean, you go in a matter of laps from 7th to 1st, and some of the maneuvers that you are able to pull off, you are a much braver driver than I could ever be.
Yeah, we had a good race car, first of all, and I think throughout the whole race, it wasn't really, nobody really saw it as much as obviously on those final laps, but man, we were making moves throughout the whole race. Ahead of the race, we were talking about if there is a chance to go on to new tires at the very end with a yellow that presents itself, then we should definitely do that to get that tire advantage. And then obviously this very specific thing happened, so it gave us a chance to go on to new tires, which kind of was part of what helped us there towards the end. As on screen right now is my pass and Alex Pillow, who was leading the race at the time, up until I snatched that away from him. So, and obviously if there's anyone that you want to overtake on those final stages of the race, he would be the one with how impressive he's been these last couple of years. So no, I was very happy for myself, obviously getting my first win in INDYCAR, as well as for ECR. The boys were obviously very excited, as you guys can see there, and being the one to get ECR back in victory lane for a good little while felt good.
Yeah. Okay, so we have been asking some of our viewers to send you some questions. We got a question actually from Tim, who works for the State Fair, but he wanted us to ask you how your car smelled after that victory.
The race car smelled fine, but there was definitely I was driving home back to Indianapolis that night, and my personal car reeked of two things, and it was cream puffs and it was champagne. So that was pretty amazing, honestly, and made the drive go by a little bit quicker.
Okay, so that kind of perfectly goes into our next question, which was, how did you celebrate in Milwaukee after winning? We were hoping maybe you got some of that Wisconsin flavors, and it sounds like you did if you had cream puffs.
I did. On the podium, there was a cream puff ready for me, as well as the champagne that we spray on there. But for me, man, it honestly wasn't a lot of celebrating, because we had a race the following week. So I was pretty much, as soon as I was done with all the media after the race, I was in the car and headed home.
I was watching some interviews that you've done in the past, and I know you talk very fondly of kind of these short oval race courses. What about these type of tracks really makes it your sweet spot?
It's a good question. I think part of it is my, I guess, slightly aggressive nature seemed to come alive on these racetracks, and it just seemed to work. I think what we do super well on the short ovals is navigating traffic. And that's such a big part of racing on these type of tracks, because no matter if you're leading the race, if you're mid-pack or wherever you are, at some point you're gonna encounter traffic, whether that is if you're lapping cars or if you're overtaking for position. So I think that's where we're making a big difference. Is just the way that we navigate traffic and get greens appeal.
Yeah. The other thing that I always think about when I look at any sort of, racing, sporting event is I always seem to think it's an individual event, and it's not. I know it is very much a team sport. Tell me more about how important your team is to you.
Well, you guys can see, from where I'm sitting, there's a lot of buzzing around me, people getting ready for the weekend. We have the guys here in the background on my left working on the wings, and you have on the other side the people working on the car. So no, it's as much as it is down to the individual in the race. It's getting to that point. It's very much of a team effort, and there's obviously the crew guys on the pit stops helping out and getting me going and refueling me, changing my tires, as well as the engineering crew getting the car where it needs to be. So it's definitely not a one-man operation. It's down to a lot of individuals to get to where we need to be.
Okay, this might be a little bit of a silly question, Christian, but as I watch some of your race footage, obviously you're going at such a high rate of speed. You can be very aggressive on a course. Is it ever hard for you to switch modes between being a race car driver and just being like an everyday driver in your personal vehicle?
No, it's definitely gotten better with age. I think I used to be more driving quicker in general, but no, I've definitely slowed it down on the roads as I've gotten older and smarter to keep the racing for the racetrack.
I feel like I would just accidentally be on the highway and look down and be like, whoa, I'm going way too fast, not on a race course. So glad to hear that you're doing better about having those two worlds separated. I also know, speaking outside of racing, you seem to have a passion for pickleball. Tell us more about that. Are you good at it?
I'm a decent pickleball player. I don't know why it's so widely spread on the internet that I'm this big pickleball player, but no, I do like to play pickleball. I play golf a lot, probably more than I do pickleball these days. I like to. I have a little project car that I work on, so kind of like in between the racing, my project car, and golf / pickleball. That's kind of what takes up most of my time.
I feel like you probably said you liked pickleball once, and now it just lives on the internet forever.
Man,
you keep getting asked.
Yeah, it just keeps following me.
That is too funny. Okay, as I mentioned, we did ask our viewers to send us some questions for you. So we have two we're going to get to. This one comes from Desmond. He says, when you are not on the track, how do you work on your reaction time?
It's two parts. We do obviously a lot of our work in the simulators. So kind of staying in tune on the driving and driving the simulator, I think helps a lot with that. And on the reaction times, outside that, we do some drills in the gym with different lights that like hand-eye coordination and stuff like that. So I think kind of between those two, that's where most of that work comes from.
Yeah, absolutely. And then we have one more viewer question we want to get to you. This one's from Robert. He says, of all the racetracks in America, are there any tracks that you would like to race at that you have never been to? And then he asks, how about a short track at Bristol, Tennessee?
Yeah, that would be cool. I think for me in INDYCAR, I'd love to go back to Watkins Glen. It's a place where INDYCAR raced in the past, but we haven't gone to in at least my time that I've been racing in INDYCAR. I think that would be a super cool market to go to. I have raced there in sports cars, but not in the cars. That'd probably be my main thing. I love whenever we go out into new markets and add a street course in different places. You know, obviously we went to Detroit and to DC this past week, a little bit new for us, and as well as Markham, which was a new track just outside of Toronto. So I think going into new markets for me, I think Denver pops up as a potential market that I think could be really cool, but unfortunately, it is not up to me, and there's smarter and more important people that make those choices.
But obviously, we know that Milwaukee is probably your favorite track, certainly holds a sweet spot for you. So as you kind of approach now, you've got less than a day left before race number one. What are just these last-minute things you're doing to prepare?
Yeah, we're getting ready for a practice session here later today. I think we start at 5 o'clock to 6:30. So that's it's going to be the first time we hit the track this weekend. See how the car feels, see if anything changed from last year, and kind of see where we are. And then from there on, we'll start to make the small little changes that we need going into qualifying tomorrow. And then then we're straight into the race. You know, so not a lot of time to prepare on the race weekend this time around. But we did have a test out here early in the year where a lot of that initial tuning took place, and then obviously myself and the engineers have been looking at that data pretty much ever since to try and prepare going into this race weekend.
Well, Christian, we are wishing you the absolute best. We can't wait to get to watch your race both tomorrow as well as Sunday in this doubleheader, and we very much appreciate you taking a few minutes to chat with us here on the live desk.
Thanks for having me.
Of course, again, that's Christian Rasmussen, the winner of last year's Milwaukee Mile. If you can't make it out to the track yourself in West Allis, a reminder, we'll have the races for you right here on Fox 6. That Saturday race kicking off at 1:30 in the afternoon. The Sunday race has a bit of an earlier start time at noon. But again, so excited to get to bring you the Milwaukee Mile this weekend. Can't wait to see who walks away victorious, and maybe Christian will do it and win in back-to-back years. He has double the chances because it is that doubleheader. So 2 different races, 2 different winners. You never know what's going to happen. Maddie Stelk is standing by. She is ready to take over to the next hour for you here of the Wisconsin Live Desk. So I'm going to leave up our cameras that are going to take you around the Badger State for a few minutes while Maddie logs in. She's got you from here. Thanks for joining me today.
Hey everybody, Maddie Stelk just getting logged in here. I'll be with you for the next about hour or so. For now, we're going to take you live right now out to Massachusetts and Plymouth right now. This is the Seal because the jury is deliberating in the trial for Lindsay Clancy. For those of you who might not be familiar, she's the Massachusetts mother accused of strangling her 3 children to death inside her home back in 2023. Now we know that both sides agree she killed her children, but Clancy's defense team is arguing she suffered from postpartum psychosis, with defense attorney Kevin Reddington saying that lousy medical care exacerbated her condition. Prosecutors now, on the other hand, are arguing she intentionally planned the killings and that the nation's healthcare system was, quote, not on trial here. A little bit of background on postpartum psychosis. It's estimated to afflict 1 to 2 per 1,000 women after delivery of a child. Now, experts at the Cleveland Clinic describe it as a mental health emergency affecting someone's sense of reality. It can happen to anyone after giving birth, but the chances are higher for people with certain mental health conditions. Though most people with postpartum psychosis don't harm their children, mothers with severe cases may try to do so and also may try to harm themselves. It's all according to the Cleveland Clinic. We know that postpartum depression and psychosis has gotten more of a light and more of an education here throughout this trial, and we know that there's been a lot of support behind Lindsay Clancy, who's been going through this. There's actually been support for Lindsay Clancy and then also support for the prosecution. We've seen both sides arguing whether or not she should be held criminally responsible for the deaths of her children. Again, the jury began deliberating again this morning at 8:30 in the morning. They were dismissed yesterday afternoon after hours of deliberation. And again, that is continuing now into the later afternoon. We know that the defense was saying they were hoping to get a verdict today, but we'll be keeping our eye out. We have not seen anything yet. But I do want to look ahead to what we're expecting later in the Wisconsin Live Desk. We have Jonathan Lavoie, a criminal defense attorney with Kim and Lavoie. He'll be speaking with me at 3:30 right here on Fox Local. We're going to ask him a multitude of questions regarding this case, and we're going to let you ask your questions as well. So we'll have more on that in just a few minutes here, but wanted to just preview a little bit about what we're expecting over the next few hours together on the Wisconsin Live Desk. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back in 2 minutes. Stay with us.
This is the Wisconsin Live Desk.
It is 1:42 on your Friday afternoon. Thanks for being with us here on Fox Local. Well, they're calling it a medical breakthrough of sorts. There's a new treatment option for people with pancreatic cancer. There's a drug that was just approved by the FDA on Wednesday. I'm going to bring in our reporter, Ashley Sears. Ash, you spoke with somebody who's been using this pill for months now before it was even approved.
Yeah, so I spoke today with Rochelle Gardner is her name. She's a Milwaukee public school teacher. She has been using this drug. It's called daraxonrasib, and she's been using it since July and has already seen significant improvements in her health. Her doctors say that blood tests show that her pancreatic cancer has possibly been reduced by 90%. There's still other tests they have to do to back that up, but she says she feels better. She has more hope right now. You mentioned this drug got approved on Wednesday. It's used to treat people who have metastatic or advanced forms of pancreatic cancer. So in May, Rochelle was told chemo and radiation were no longer working for her, and she was feeling pretty hopeless at the time. And then she got word that she was going to be a part of this expanded access program through the hospital City of Hope, which is in Illinois. And she started her treatment in late July and says it's been life-changing.
Yeah, I talk a little bit more about how she's doing now, because I know stage 4 is pretty serious.
Yeah, so she was diagnosed in 2023 when it was stage 1 pancreatic cancer, and it advanced within her body. Metastatic pancreatic cancer is what she has now, where that cancer has spread to distant organs. And, you know, she says everything she Googled was bad news, and she was not feeling hopeful. This is one of the deadliest forms of cancer, and she didn't know what to do. She's been a teacher with MPS for 30 years, and she said she continued to teach throughout this because the kids brought her so much joy. But she said by the end of last year's school year, she didn't know how much longer she could continue on. And she said since taking this drug, in just 1 month's time, she has seen significant improvements. The FDA approved it, and we're told that this drug blocked certain mutated protein, and that kind of fuels cancer growth. And now it is increasing survival rates for these people who many thought they wouldn't last much longer.
And I know the new school year is getting underway. Is she teaching still heading into the new school year?
Yeah, so she teaches the visually impaired at Gensland School in Milwaukee. And today we caught up with her as she was kind of preparing for the new school year. And she said that's kind of what helps her to keep going. She is very close with her family and really inspired by these students that she gets to see every day. So she's looking forward to feeling better, and just having improved health as she teaches these kids in the upcoming school year.
Ashley, looking forward to hearing from her and your reports coming up on our early newscast. Thanks so much for joining us on the live desk today. And we are going to take a quick break here, but pretty incredible treatment that we're seeing there, and also getting to hear firsthand from somebody, an MPS school teacher, about their experience. Just pretty incredible. Our hearts go out to her, and also as she heads into this new school year, that she's able to teach all of these kids as well. We'll be right back in 2 minutes.
This is the Wisconsin Live Desk.
Welcome back to the Wisconsin Live Desk. Let's give you another live look. Let me get this in my monitor right here. Let's give you another live look right now. Again, this is the seal of the court in Massachusetts right now, where we continue to follow the Lindsay Clancy murder trial. We know that the jury has been deliberating for hours now, since about 8:30 this morning, and we are going to be joined this afternoon by criminal defense attorney Jonathan Lavoie to answer some of your questions. So we want to hear from you. So you can scan that QR code at the bottom of your screen right there, or go to fox6now.com/connect. Talk about what questions do you have for Jonathan Lavoie. It'll be interesting to get a criminal defense attorney's perspective on this case. Again, we saw days and days, weeks, actually 5 weeks of testimony here, and so many exhibits, so many witnesses that we saw here. We know the prosecution alone calling 70 witnesses to the stand, and we've seen this case get a lot of attention on social media. I've seen it's kind of hard to ignore, to be honest. I feel like I've been scrolling on TikTok and seeing so many theories, comments about this case, and I feel like a lot of it needs some perspective, some legal perspective, because a lot of what people are talking about, they aren't inside the courtroom and really getting that legal perspective. We know that this case brings up a very important topic, which is like medical care and postpartum depression, and we know that's been one of the driving things that has given this case so much coverage. We've even seen protests outside of the courthouse here, where we've seen women wearing pink in support of Lindsay Clancy to get the help that she needs. Again, the prosecution is saying that she did it. Lindsay Clancy herself admitted she did it, and her defense team also admitting she did it. What they're trying to decide right now here is whether or not Clancy can be held criminally responsible for these killings, because again, we know that her defense team is arguing that she had postpartum psychosis and was failed by the medical system, which only made her condition worse, whereas the prosecution is arguing that Clancy intentionally did this and knew what she was doing and did not have postpartum psychosis. So a very interesting case that we've been following, and we are going to break it all down again with criminal defense attorney Jonathan Lavoie in just a couple of hours here. So scan that QR code on your screen or go to fox6now.com/connect. We want you guys to be a part of this conversation and get some of your questions answered by Jonathan here. For now, we are going to take a quick break on the Wisconsin Live Desk. Maybe take a look at your forecast in just a little bit. We'll be right back.
This is the Wisconsin Live Desk.
Approaching the top of the 2 o'clock hour here, let's give you a live look right now at Lambeau Field because the Packers are back tonight. They are taking on the Cardinals in their final preseason game, the preseason closer, if you will, of the year. We'll be checking in with our sports director, Tim Van Voren. He's going to be live from Green Bay in just about 15, 20 minutes or so now. Well, he's slotted for 2:15, so I guess my math's a little off there. More like 20, a little under 25 minutes. We'll be talking with Tim Van Voren. You're not going to want to miss it. Again, it's the final audition for those, if you will, roster hopefuls who are hoping to make the team. The Packers need to trim their roster to 53 by Sunday afternoon. And we know that this all comes following the official charges that were filed against Josh Jacobs. We know that he was arrested back in May here on alleged domestic violence situation. We know that these charges are not relating to that. I'm pulling up our article here right now so we can go through what we do know together. We broke that news to you on the Wisconsin Live Desk yesterday afternoon. Again, we've been waiting on this for months here, and now they're finally coming to light. We talked a little bit with our reporter, Sam Kramer, about that and what this exactly does entail. I'm getting the article pulled up right here on our screen right now. So the Brown County District Attorney's Office charged Jacobs with misdemeanor battery and misdemeanor criminal damage to property. He's scheduled now to make his initial appearance in court on Tuesday, November 17th. Now, we don't know if this will go to trial or not. Again, all that's been happened is that he's been charged, and then his initial will be not for a few months now until November. We know this is a very important time for the Packers on the sports side of things. Again, needing to finalize their roster by Sunday. We've gotten several statements, including from Jacobs' attorneys that say, quote, the Brown County District Attorney has reviewed evidence and elected to file misdemeanor charges against Josh that do not include domestic violence. The allegations will be addressed in court and not in the media. Mr. Jacobs respects the district attorney's office and the process it followed. A little bit more on the backstory right now. So Hobart and Lawrence police arrested Jacobs after he turned himself in on May 26. He was released from the Brown County Jail a day later without charges. The district attorney's office said prosecutors needed more evidence before deciding whether to file those charges. I remember when this news broke back in May. I was actually just starting here on the Wisconsin Live Desk when we learned about this incident here. And again, after that, things went pretty quiet for a few months now. And now, according to a news release police shared on the incident, they responded to a disturbance involving Jacobs on May 23rd. Police listed the charges they arrested him on, which included felony strangulation, battery, domestic abuse, criminal damage to property, domestic abuse, disorderly conduct, and then domestic abuse and intimidation of a victim. So several charges there regarding domestic abuse. But again, the charges that we know now are not relating to that. Now, the district attorney's office says it sought to ensure a, quote, fair and complete review of available evidence, some of which, quote, only recently became available due to ongoing forensic efforts. So the criminal investigation, according to the criminal complaint that we received yesterday, it said police went to Jacobs' home in Hobart shortly after 8:30. Another resident answered the door and said he was unaware of any altercation between Jacobs and his girlfriend and that he saw both of them leave the home. Officers found the girlfriend at a neighbor's house, and court filings said she told police she had, quote, a lump on her head from Jacobs. She said he looked through Jacobs' phone and saw he was, quote, talking to other girls, so she threw the phone. Jacobs had her phone, she said, and when she tried to get it back, they got into a physical struggle for several minutes. The victim said they left the home and Jacobs drove away with her phone, according to that complaint. She said she took one of Jacobs' other vehicles and followed him to try and get her phone back. They eventually returned to the home where the argument continued. The court filings go on to say the victim then grabbed her second phone and Jacobs called her a, quote, derogatory name. We don't know what that name is. She left the house through the garage door to try to call police. When she said Jacobs followed her, quote, grabbed her and threw her to the ground, and she struck her head. Jacobs then took her second phone. A digital forensic examination report of Jacobs' home surveillance system was completed in mid-August. These court filings say the video corroborates the relevant portions of the victim's statements. It showed Jacobs and the victim driving away before coming back, as well as what took place in the garage. It also showed Jacobs took and damaged the victim's phone. The surveillance system did not capture anything that happened inside the home. The complaint said police noted redness to the victim's face and neck and could feel the bump on the back of her head. She said Jacobs never returned her primary phone and her second phone was damaged during the incident. Now, again, the big question a lot of sports fans are asking is Josh Jacobs suspended? Now, on Wednesday, Packers general manager Brian Gutekunst addressed the football side of Jacobs' legal situation, telling reporters the team is prepared for the NFL to suspend Jacobs over the incident. The NFL has not yet disciplined Jacobs over this incident, and the 28-year-old has participated in a mix of preseason practices that we've been reporting on, while also dealing with a groin injury. Looking back on Jacobs' career just a little bit here, as we continue to monitor this story and this investigation, the Raiders selected Jacobs in the first round of the 2019 NFL Draft, and he played his first 5 NFL seasons there before signing with the Packers as a free agent in 2024, so just a couple of years ago. Jacobs started all 17 games in his first season in Green Bay, amassing 1,329 rushing yards and a career-best 15 touchdowns in a Pro Bowl season. He tallied 929 yards, and 13 touchdowns over 15 games last season. So we know this does come as not the best news for Packers fans here. Jacobs, a core part of this team. Again, the general manager says they are prepared to suspend him if the NFL does decide to do so. So we are going to take a quick break here on the Wisconsin Live Desk, but we'll be right back in 2 minutes. Stay with us.
This is the Wisconsin Live Desk.
Top of the 2 o'clock hour here on your Friday afternoon. We have made it. It is almost the weekend, just a few more hours here together on the Wisconsin Live Desk. Let's give you another live look at Lambeau Field right now. Again, Tim Van Voren going to have a live report from him in just 15 minutes to talk about the final game of the preseason before we head into the regular season in September. The game is against the Cardinals. Again, this is kind of the last audition and chance for the quote-unquote roster hopefuls here who are trying to make that cut of 53 players. Again, the coaches will make that decision on Sunday. It's just a few days after this game ends. It's at 7 o'clock and pretty good weather to do so. We're seeing 81 degrees. Let's take a look at your 6-day planner right here. As we can see, a high of 82 today, so we're just about at that peak. And then enjoy the sun while you can, because we are expecting a chance of showers and storms. Oh, pretty much, I was going to say the days, but it's pretty much the rest of the week heading into next week here. Again, things don't look like they'll be cleared up until about Wednesday here. We'll get a look at your forecast in just a bit, but definitely enjoy the sunshine while you can and get out there and get active. I know I'll be heading home this weekend back to my hometown and just hanging out with my parents for a little bit, but hopefully that rain will clear up in time so people can get out and enjoy the rest of their weekend. But honestly, skies were pretty clear last night as well for the partial eclipse that we saw out there. Delaney, Adrian, were you up late enough last night to see it?
I did stay up late enough. It was pretty cool to see.
I did as well. I had a pretty good view.
You did.
And I've got some pictures. Maybe I could try to pull one up real quick.
Yeah, try to get those pulled up there, because I'm curious. I went to bed at like 10:15, which is honestly late for me, but I looked out my window and that's when it was starting, the eclipse. Like, you could see the shadow a little bit over the moon there, and I'm sure it was gorgeous. I saw some of the photos that some of the people in our newsroom took. I know Ben Handelman got this fire photo, because honestly, when I saw it, the shadow going a little bit over the moon, and that was it. I was like, this is cool enough in itself. But then it's like, if I literally stayed up just an hour later, you get that amazing orange look on the moon as well. So pretty cool sight.
I think, yeah, that was the most impressive part to me, was just how deep the red was. So I was totally not expecting it to look like that. You know, I'd seen the pictures, but I guess I just wasn't ready to believe it quite yet.
No,
if that makes any sense.
No, 100%. Because, yeah, they were saying, like, blood orange moon, and I was like, okay, yeah, I'll believe it when I see it. But the clouds cleared enough where we really got to see the hue of that color, Adrian, that you were talking about. I know right here, this is our cloud tracker. We've been seeing these clouds, as Tom was kind of describing yesterday, come in to our area, but then they disappeared just in time for that eclipse. So we'll get a look at your forecast in just a little bit here. But we are going to switch gears right now, check in with one of our reporters, because we're talking about something that we've been covering for months now. It's the flock cameras. Very, very controversial. I feel like people are pretty polarized on whether or not this is good and whether or not we should have them, or if there should be restrictions. Yesterday, we heard from lawmakers who were against flock cameras, but today we actually heard from Milwaukee police about why we need them. I'm going to bring in our reporter, Jason Calvi now. Jason, what was your conversation like today with them?
Well, there is some criticism, and let's be very honest, there is criticism, Maddie, about the flock cameras. We've had 3 officers in Milwaukee, 3 Milwaukee police officers who have been investigated for misusing the flock system. So let's go through all 3 of them, and I have updates on all 3 of them that I can share with you today. The first was Officer Ayala, who was charged and convicted of misusing the flock system. Prosecutors said he tapped into the flock system more than 170 times to spy on romantic partner, as well as that romantic partner's ex. So using that to spy on those people, checking the system. The flock system there's about 30 of them across the city of Milwaukee, and it captures a license plate. It captures an image of the license plate, and it can pinpoint where you are at a certain point in time. So prosecutors charged Officer Ayala, and he was convicted of that. That's the first officer. The second officer was an MPD investigator, a detective, who was assigned to review the Ayala case. And he, too, is facing criminal charges, is still playing out in court, also accused of misusing the flock system. And now I can confirm, this is something I'm learning and sharing with our Wisconsin Live Desk audience for the first time, all of you listening at home, this officer, the second officer, was discharged. That's a formal name for firing. Under state law, there's different reasons for firing and discharge, but he was discharged or fired from his position with the Milwaukee Police Department. And then the third officer, we just learned that MPD investigated a third officer for misusing the flock system, and I have an update on that particular officer's case. That particular officer is still employed with Milwaukee Police Department. Internal Affairs was reviewing his use of the flock system. They said there was an example of that officer using it using the FOX system against the standard operating procedure. So exactly what that officer was looking at, how many times, and what the circumstances were, I don't have all the details on that. But they told me today that it didn't rise to the level of criminal charges, that they don't think he was breaking the law, but they do believe that this officer was misusing the system and has been removed from the FOX system, so no longer has access to the FOX system, but likely not criminal charges, but Internal Affairs is reviewing that third officer for use of the FOX system.
Now, Jason, we know that, I mean, even just with these 3 cases, different levels of punishment here. Do we know what the threshold was or what the final straw was to get one officer discharged and the other not?
Well, the first officer, Officer Ayala, was the one with the 170 searches of the romantic partner and the romantic partner's ex. That officer, in negotiations with prosecutors early on, right when Officer Ayala was charged, did resign from the Milwaukee Police Department.
And for the other officer, the one who was discharged, can you talk a little bit more about that investigation? Do we know anything more about what that was about?
Yeah, so I'm told that that officer did not agree to resign, the second officer. And in fact, I'm told that on August 18th, the police chief discharged that detective from the department, so that officer is no longer on the force.
But we don't know what that detective did.
We do know that that officer is facing charges. 1 second, Maddie, if you can take it off me for a second. I got to ask Bill Miston a question.
Sure.
Take my mic down. Thank you.
All right, so again, we are continuing to follow this right here. Jason, having that conversation with Milwaukee police today regarding these 3 cases. We know this stems beyond Milwaukee, too. We've seen reports in Racine and Kenosha about officers under investigation now. I know Jason's been working hard with other members of our newsroom to get all of the facts right. Jason, able to get that answer?
So Officer Chapman and Bill Miston has covered felony misconduct. So this is a felony misconduct in office. Again, misusing the FOX system. He's facing that felony in Milwaukee court right now, Milwaukee County Court. That case is still playing out, but we do know that last week, August 18th, MPD, the police chief, did discharge this person, which is a fancy word for firing him. And Chapman did appear in court this last Wednesday. So facing these charges, pled not guilty. And I'm just getting some information off camera here from Bill Miston, who's really the expert on that particular second case. I reviewed the first case. Bill Miston was looking at the second case here, so I don't have all those details right in front of me. But it is important to say that case is still playing out in court. He, according to MPD today, told me that he did not agree to resign, and so he was in fact discharged or fired on last week.
So in a way, it was, if Ayala didn't decide to resign, he would have also probably been discharged.
That's right, yeah. And this third officer, still on the force, just no longer has access to the FOX system. And what MPD is telling me is that after the Ayala case, which again was the first case that we reported this year, after that case, they went in and kind of said, hey, this is a big mistake. And they admitted that in my interview with them. I'm going to share with you later and on Fox Local. They admitted that the audit program as it was set up did not catch Officer Ayala's now conviction, what he was convicted of doing, the crimes that he was convicted of doing. So it didn't catch that, so they did make changes to the system. So now they're able to flag something like that a lot better, according to Milwaukee police. They're saying they're able to capture this, and they're saying the second detective, as well as this the third officer I mentioned, who's under internal affairs investigation, they said because of the new audit system, they were able to find those 2 cases, and they are saying they're moving forward with appropriate discipline. One obviously facing criminal charges, the other one facing an internal affairs review.
And Jason, I think one of the big things too is that even through all of this, Milwaukee police is still saying that these cameras are essential for solving crime, correct?
Yeah. So a couple of cases that they're bringing up, some recent cases. There was a kidnapping case where a young man had kidnapped someone he was romantically interested in. Prosecutors charged that person, but and I can get into what they charged him with doing, but MPD says they used the FOX system to track that vehicle that this young man was kidnapping a young woman and had handcuffed her, at least according to prosecutors, had handcuffed her in the car and had things that appeared to potentially be planning to potentially kill this young woman. And so MPD says that they actually use the technology, the flock cameras, to track this person through Milwaukee, then through outside Milwaukee County, and then into another jurisdiction, another county where the law enforcement in that county was able to pull this car over and find that, yes, there was this young woman there and this young man, and they were able to arrest that young man, who's now facing charges for alleged kidnapping here.
And Jason, looking at the other side, because yesterday you spoke with lawmakers who are demanding more transparency, especially here in Milwaukee. What did they have to say regarding these flock cameras?
According to Alderwoman Marina Dmitrievich, who we spoke with yesterday, and if you want to see the full interview, you can see that 8-minute interview on Fox Local right now. It's up there, so you can check it out. And then I'm hoping that you'll be able to check out the interview that I did with MPD today, where they're talking about sort of in favor of the flock cameras. Marina Dmitrievich said that because we've had case after case, now 3 cases in Milwaukee of officers allegedly or even convicted of misusing the flock system, that she doesn't believe police can adequately oversee themselves. The watchers can't watch themselves. So that's what she's alleging. So she's asking for different things to happen. She's asking for MPD and the Fire and Police Commission to respond to her by September 30th. So I can tell you that the Milwaukee Police Department tells me they are looking into the letter. They want to give a thorough review and an explanation to lawmakers about all the audit procedures that they have implemented to make sure they're really tracking if an officer is misusing this. So if there's multiple times that an officer is looking up one particular license plate, that's going to flag for potentially manager to come in and review and say, okay, yep, that was linked in with the particular missing person case or a particular robbery case, etc. The officers have to type in a particular case number or a dispatch number into the flock system as part of their investigation. And so if there's not a CAD number, if it's missing, if it's that's going to flag for review. So there's all these new systems in place from MPD where they're actually automatically flagging particular cases if they're an outlier or there's repeated entries of a particular license plate. Officer Ayala, again, was accused of searching an ex as well or searching a romantic partner and the romantic partner's ex many times, 170 times. So this new system would alert supervisors quickly that, hey, something's not right here. The same license plate keeps getting added again and again and again and searched into the system. So that's what MPD is saying. The lawmakers, 12 of the 15 members of the Common Council, wrote this letter to MPD asking for answers, demanding answers, actually, in fact, and demanding changes. So we're going to see what happens. I know the Alderwoman said she wanted to have this be a collaborative effort, so she's not. Common Council does have the power to change Milwaukee's standard operating procedure right away. They have that power under state law. They can do that. But she said she didn't want to do that right now. She wants to hear from MPD. She wants it to be more of a collaborative effort right now. And we'll see what happens with that communication between them and the police force. And if not, if they don't like the answers, if they don't feel like it's sufficiently answering all of their worries, then it's possible that, Alderwoman said, they could look at options like potentially defunding the flock program in Milwaukee, not giving funding for that program in the next city budget, which will be crafted in the fall, in October. So those are some of the things they're looking at locally. But again, it's a long process, as they do want to hear from MPD. They've given them until September 30th to respond.
Yeah, we'll be keeping an eye out on that. Such an interesting series of cases that we've seen here in Wisconsin. We know that a lot of what will happen now might set precedent for how these cameras are handled in the future. Jason, anything else you want to add before I let you go?
Just a couple stories that we're going to talk about tonight on Fox Local 4 and 5 is the Brookfield case. I'll get into that. That was where a woman's vehicle was flagged by the flock system that it was potentially used in a homicide, and that vehicle was stopped, and that person was stopped by police, thinking that this vehicle was used in a homicide. So we're going to get into that with MPD, and we're also going to get into some of the uses they've had for this technology. And another big question is, are they sharing this? At least this is one of the worries of the alders here in Milwaukee, is are they sharing this with the federal government? Are they particularly sharing this with the data from the flock cameras? Are they sharing it with ICE agents? Can ICE go into the system and pinpoint people that they want to potentially deport? That is a no-go for members of the Milwaukee Common Council, and the answer that we received today on that particular question was no. They're not sharing this flock data with federal partners, and in fact, they said they're only sharing it with Milwaukee Police Department, with Wisconsin police agencies. And I said, well, what about you guys? Are also sharing it with Chicago, right? Because in the spring, they were, in fact, sharing this data with Wisconsin police departments and agencies, as well as the city of Chicago, and that's now stopped. They're no longer sharing it with any agencies outside of the state of Wisconsin. They also have things in the protocols that would stop it from being used for any immigration enforcement. So when you go in there and you're saying, I want to search for such and such license plate, you have to enter the reason for investigation, and it might ask, robbery, missing person. It'll ask, is this for immigration? And if the officer clicks immigration, then they're not able to use the Milwaukee flock system for that search, because that's off limits for using Milwaukee's flock cameras. You cannot use it for an immigration. So if you were to type that in, this is for an immigration search, it would block that officer here in Milwaukee from utilizing the system here in Milwaukee.
Yeah, very high interest topic for many people. Jason Calvi reporting in the newsroom. Thanks for joining us here on the live desk. And you can catch Jason's reports coming up on Fox 6 News at 4, as well as 5 and 6, to get a little bit more information and dive deeper, because we've barely just scratched the surface here. And you can also check out Jason's interview from yesterday and the one from today on our Fox Local mobile app. It is a free download, but I'm sure a lot of you know that if you're watching us here right now. We're going to take a quick break here on the Wisconsin Live Desk. Check in with Tim in Green Bay.
This is the Wisconsin Live Desk.
2:22 on your Friday afternoon. Thanks for being with us on Fox Local. It's a beautiful day for some football. Let's give you a live look at Lambeau Field right now. Getting ready for the preseason closer right here on the home turf. Packers taking on the Cardinals tonight at 7. Let's bring in our sports director, Tim Van Voren. Tim, you're on the road. Where are you headed?
Zeroing in on Lambeau Field as we zero in on the end of the preseason, Maddie. Perfect, as you said. It's a nice day. Just a touch of autumn in the air. Otherwise, looking good for the Packers and Cardinals. The LaFleur Bowl, of course, Matt LaFleur against his brother Mike LaFleur with no stakes on the line. That's why this has been a good week. They had a joint practice. The teams hung out. The staffs got together. And everybody was kind of laying pretty low on Thursday, and then they're going to play the game here tonight. Nobody's going to put this one in the official standings, Maddie. So that's what we're all about.
And I actually saw a post that's been circulating on social media of LaFleur, his brother, and then the parents. Are they staying pretty non-partial here to either side?
Yeah, they're neutral. I've gotten to know Denny, their dad, over the years, and we had a nice couple of chats the other day during joint practice. Christy, their mom, very nice lady, and I did see a good picture. I know Matt Schneidman took one from theathletic.com of the two coaches and the parents. And I know ESPN did an extensive interview at the parents' home in Green Bay. They live in Green Bay, about, kind of their memories of Matt and Mike growing up. So people are embracing, the LaFleur family is certainly embracing this opportunity. And it's such a unique opportunity, Maddie. There are only a select number of people who could ever talk about something like this. The Harbaughs are doing it with Jim and John Harbaugh as coaches in the NFL. Otherwise, this just doesn't happen.
Yeah, and I think a great week to do it because, as you said, stakes are pretty low here in the preseason, but not for, I guess I like to call them the roster hopefuls. So they have to finalize the roster by Sunday. I know we had talked a little about it yesterday, but who are we keeping an eye on that you think might be able to make that cut of 53 players?
They like that you're referring to them as hopefuls, Maddie. Other people, roster bubble or fringe guys are back in the roster. Hey, the semantics count for something. Roster hopefuls. I like it. They like it. There are several players that know they're probably not going to make the Green Bay Packers. Okay, right now you're at 90 guys. You're going to cut it down to 53. I'm going to say there are 15, 17, 20 guys who know they have no chance. Then there are some guys who need to have the breaks go exactly their way. And then there are about 10 who are fighting for about 5 or 6 spots. And, that's what this is coming down to. The Packers just signed a tight end, Jonnu Smith, who's a veteran tight end. Well, the guys who felt good on the depth chart of the tight ends in training camp now get knocked down a spot as Jonnu Smith, a veteran tight end, is going to come in and take one of their spots. So it's very fluid time of year. You can see the setup getting ready for the game tonight. And it's relaxed if you're certain people, regular guys on the roster who aren't going to play tonight, and it's incredibly stressful if you're in that roster hopeful category.
No, absolutely. And Tim, a little bit more about these roster hopefuls, if you will. So if they don't make the cut on Sunday, does that mean they're completely done?
Absolutely not, Maddie. The roster will be cut down to 53 by 5 o'clock Sunday. That's the NFL mandated time. So the Packers are going to have to trim, and all teams are going to have to trim their rosters down to 53. Then the next day, they can start rebuilding their practice squad. These are guys who didn't make the regular roster. They've chosen to re-sign with the Packers. They get a reduced salary, but they are part of the team. They are part of the practice. They get to go through the reps. They get the coaching. They're in the same meetings. They're out there on the practice field. And literally, Maddie, they're one step away from being elevated on a game day. And you can get elevated 3 times during the season from the practice squad to the regular roster. The Packers do that frequently with running backs. And, I don't know if we want to talk about the Josh Jacobs situation, but obviously running back is a position that bears watching in Green Bay now, given the charges against Josh Jacobs, the Packers. So you get cut. You still could come back on the practice squad. You could be signed to a different team's practice squad. The Packers give up all their rights to you once they cut you by 5 o'clock Sunday. Just as the Packers then could be looking at the list elsewhere in the league and say, hey, we want that guy from the Baltimore Ravens. They had to give up their rights to him. We're signing him. We're bringing him in. So there will still be movement, quite a bit of movement over the first week between the cut-down day and getting ready for the first game of the regular season.
And you had mentioned Josh Jacobs a little bit because I think that's a big topic of conversation that a lot of Packers fans are maybe a little worried about, but has not been suspended yet. Whose hands is that in now, and when could we maybe expect to find out whether or not he will play this season?
Well, he has a court date scheduled for November 17th. So the NFL, which now takes over the control of this situation in terms of the ability to mete out some punishment or penalty, is going to have to wait unless there's an agreement reached before that. They're going to have to wait until November 17th to see what is going to come of that court hearing. I guess you don't have to, but the likelihood is that they will. The past precedent would indicate that's how the NFL will handle this situation. Now, there have been players who have been suspended. Von Miller of Dallas comes to mind. He wasn't playing for Dallas at the time, but he's a veteran player now on Dallas. He was not charged in a domestic violence situation, but charges were brought against him. And so he then was suspended 4 games by the NFL. Other players have been suspended 6 games by the NFL. There's a minimum of 6 games for a domestic violence charge. Now, Josh Jacobs' charges do not have the domestic violence modifier, which is in the Wisconsin state statute. So the NFL can determine whether there's domestic violence involved in this case or not. Bottom line, your question was, for Packers fans, would you expect to see Josh Jacobs on the field? I would at the start of the season. There's the possibility that suspension or punishment could come during the season, but my expectation would be he would be eligible to start the season for the Packers. General Manager Brian Gutekunst was asked about kind of the ability to sustain the running back position if there was a punishment for Josh Jacobs. He thought they could do so with the players they have on their roster.
Something we'll definitely be keeping an eye on, Tim, and making the season before it even starts a little bit more busy for you, I'm sure, as well. I want to give one last live look right now at Green Bay. Tim, how are the vibes looking right now? I've been seeing some people walking in, heading to Lambeau in their jerseys. How are you feeling in the preseason closer game coming up?
I think the preseason's gone well for the Packers. The folks that are going to the game tonight, I hope they have a great time. You're not going to see guys, I mean, you just have to understand that and accept that. Some people are bothered by that. I'm paying a ticket price and I'm not going to see Jordan Love or Christian Watson or Xavier McKinney. That's just the way it is. The Packers are going to protect those players for the regular season. So if you're going tonight to have a good time, you're going to watch on TV, have a good time, take what you will out of it. Expect that if you're going to be a Packer fan now, you're going to be a Packer fan in the regular season, and they hope that these guys that they're resting tonight will make it worth the wait once they play games that count in the regular season. It's a nice night. It's Lambeau Field. The music will be on, and it'll be the Floor Bowl. Maddie, if nothing else, you can say you were at or you watched the first ever LaFleur Bowl. There's something to be said for that.
Yeah, LaFleur Bowl definitely going to be exciting for people headed there, and we'll keep our fingers crossed for the roster hopefuls in the meantime, Tim. Thanks for joining us here on the Wisconsin Live Desk. All right, we are going to take a quick live look right now. Let's actually just take you back out to Lambeau Field. I see Sam Kramer standing by right now, so we'll leave this up. He's going to get you logged in, and he'll be with you on the other side. Thanks for joining me. I'll be back at 3:30.
All right, hi everybody. Sam Kramer here with you now on the Wisconsin Live Desk until 3:30-ish, we will call it. Still looking live over at Lambeau Field, preparing for its debut of the 2026 season as the Packers will host the Arizona Cardinals tonight for their final preseason game. Just heard from our sports director, Tim Van Voren, on his way to perhaps the best stadium in the league for what is an important game. The score doesn't matter, but those reps certainly do to the people that are trying to make that 53-man roster. Those decisions coming on Sunday. So certainly looking forward to that tonight. We're going to step away for a quick break. When we return, we're going to talk about a special effort here in Wisconsin that is supporting people on the opposite side of the world after a devastating tragedy in Nepal. We'll have that for you on the other side. You're watching the Wisconsin Live Desk.
This is the Wisconsin Live Desk.
Hi everybody, Sam Kramer back with you here on the Wisconsin Live Desk. It is Friday, August 28th. September, Labor Day, almost here. Certainly a lot of things to look forward to here in Wisconsin, but we're also keeping our eyes on what is happening across the world. And a major story this week, a heartbreaking story this week, has been the devastating natural disaster that has unfolded in Nepal, right on its border with China, after glaciers there in the Himalayan mountains melted, triggering this intense mudslide that has just devastated communities there. Chances are you have seen some video of this. And joining us to talk about that today as I bring in our guest here is Shashank Pokhreljoshi. Did I pronounce your name correctly?
Yes, that's correct.
Excellent. Well, thank you for joining us. He is with the Milwaukee Nepali Parivar. Give us an idea of what your organization is.
Okay, Sam, first of all, thank you so much for having me and being a platform for our organization to show our voice and how we are feeling. So my name is Shashank Pokhreljoshi, and I'm here today as one of the board member of Milwaukee Nepali Parivar. And Parivar means family in Nepali, and that really describes who we are. Milwaukee Nepali Parivar is a volunteer-driven nonprofit that has been serving the Nepali community in Milwaukee and southeastern part of Wisconsin since 2012. We work to preserve Nepali culture, language, and traditions, support families, organize educational and cultural programs, and help connect the Nepali community with the broader Wisconsin community. The Nepali American community is an integral part of Milwaukee and Wisconsin, and we are working in hospitals and healthcare, universities, small businesses, education, and many other areas. And that shows that we are your coworkers, your neighbors, your friends, and member of the same community.
Absolutely. It's a way to kind of merge those cultures to say that, yes, we are here, but yes, we also have family and friends from Nepal. As you have watched what has unfolded this week, and again, I think people can see the video, have no connection to Nepal, but you can absolutely feel something when you watch that. For you and for the Nepali Parivar, how has this week been? I have to imagine it is just gut-wrenching to know that this has happened to a community that your community cares about, but then also there are people there, I'm sure that you guys know, and that is such a heartbreaking element to this.
Yes, exactly. From my perspective and my reaction, when I first saw the news, I honestly could not believe the extent of the devastation. I was just shocked and frozen for like a minute or five and just processing everything that I saw. And this has never happened before, and it is the first kind of disaster like this we have seen in Nepal. And even being thousands of miles away, it hurts to watch. And I cannot imagine the pain of the families and the communities experiencing this firsthand are going through. And when we hear about the disasters, sometimes we hear about statistics, but every person affected has their own lives, their own family, people who love them, a home that they have worked all their lives, plans, and a community around them. And that just makes this so heartbreaking.
Yeah, and you mentioned the statistics there because it does help for people to contextualize, but you're right, it doesn't speak to the total devastation. As we're looking at some video here of the aftermath, there have been rescue crews doing, frankly, dangerous jobs, rappelling down into situations sometimes over the Chinese border, helicoptering in. They are looking in desolate areas, but also communities are completely overrun here by these flooding scenarios. You see people just covered in mud based on the rescues that have happened. The latest numbers that we have from the Associated Press is that nearly 600 people have died. Another 2,500 are still missing. Fortunately, as we have seen in this video, there are some people that have been fortunate enough to be rescued, and there is certainly a miracle in that. And this work is only just beginning. It is going to take a long time. So what is it that the Milwaukee organization is doing to support your friends, your family, your communities in Nepal after going through this?
Yeah. So right now, Milwaukee Nepali Parivar is assessing the situation and trying to understand the realities and needs on the ground and planning how we can respond to this in the most meaningful way. Our first step is to bring together the Nepali American community here in southeastern Wisconsin and inviting the broader community, our friends, neighbors, coworkers, to stand with us. And yesterday, we had an open community meeting, and we are still figuring out who in our Nepali American community is impacted by this. And just to mention, we have now launched a GoFundMe fundraiser to support the response to this catastrophe, and we are continuing to evaluate how we can best help as the situation develops. And donation does not have to be large to matter. Even something around the price of a cup of coffee, when many people come together, can become meaningful support. And if someone is not in the position to donate, sharing the fundraiser is also incredibly helpful because it may reach someone who can. And the fund raised through the campaign will be coordinated by Milwaukee Nepali Parivar and transferred to Government of Nepal official Prime Minister's Disaster Relief Fund. And I do have two more things to say. One is we have a fundraising lunch at the Hindu Temple of Wisconsin tomorrow, starting at 11:30 a.m. and which will end around 2:30 p.m. And lastly, this isn't the only about raising money. This is also a tremendous human life. We're planning for the candlelight vigil, which will take place this Sunday at 6 p.m. at the Hindu Temple of Wisconsin in Milwaukee. This gives our community a space to remember those who lost their lives, stand with the families who are grieving, and support one another right here in Wisconsin, even though we are geographically far away. Emotionally, this is very close to us.
Yeah, I've driven by that temple too. It's a beautiful place there in Pewaukee, and I imagine it will be a beautiful candlelight vigil. And really, as you talked about, and I want to close on this, you don't have to be from Nepal or connected to Nepal to feel for the people that live there and to feel for the people that are affected by this. So I have to imagine you guys are opening your doors to whomever wants to be involved in this, whoever wants to donate, whoever wants to mourn, to just provide that space for people to come together.
Exactly. And I hope people remember the humanity behind what they are seeing.
Exactly. All right, Shashank Pokral Joshi from the Milwaukee Nepali Parivar, thank you so much for joining us here on the Wisconsin Live Desk. We appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
Absolutely. So, important discussion there about, again, what has happened, the intersection of stories across the world and communities here in Wisconsin. There's a saying in our newsroom, there always seems to be this Wisconsin connection. And certainly that is evident here on this story. And you heard him talk there about the fact that they're still assessing things in Nepal. Rescuers are still finding places that they have not yet been to, have not yet been able to access due to the devastation, due to roads wiping out, infrastructure crumbling after just these massive mudslides came down the mountains. So if you're looking at it from a physics standpoint, there really is nothing these communities could have done. This has never happened before in this part of the Himalayas, that according to the Associated Press. So it is just a really helpless situation when you're watching that video and you're seeing people there with nowhere to go, with nowhere to turn. And so certainly it is going to take a long time for communities there to clean up, to gather, to mourn the people that have died, and then to also rebuild. It's going to be a difficult process. And as we have looked at disasters here, whether it be in Wisconsin or other parts of the U.S., think about hurricanes or tornadoes down to our south, the American Red Cross and other organizations like that have said, look, we don't necessarily know what we need right away. Sometimes it's money. And actually, Menasha did this with the tornado that they saw a little more than a month ago now. We can start with money. Maybe it's water. Maybe it's, clothing items for families that suddenly have nothing. It takes time to assess that, to see where things are, and then to really hone in and ask people around the world, as is happening in this case, for the appropriate help. So it's really uplifting and empowering to see communities here in Milwaukee, including the Milwaukee Nepali Parivar, starting a GoFundMe, as we heard, hosting a fundraising lunch tomorrow at the Hindu temple there in Pewaukee, and then also holding a candlelight vigil again Sunday at 6 o'clock at the Hindu temple of Wisconsin. We're going to step away for a quick break. When we return, more of the day's news from Wisconsin and beyond. You're watching the Wisconsin Live Desk.
This is the Wisconsin Live Desk.
Hello again, Sam Kramer back with you here on the Wisconsin Live Desk. It is Friday, August 28th, the final weekend of August, and for a lot of folks, the final weekend of summer. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but it's just what it is. Let's take a live look over at Lambeau Field. A lot of people focusing here because it is the Packers' final preseason game, and it is their first of this preseason at Lambeau Field. So it is a test run, if you will, for the 2026 season. See a lot of people there stopping into the pro shop, getting the gear that they want, perhaps jerseys and whatever. Dad carrying his daughter there on his shoulders, walking off screen. It's a beautiful day across southeast Wisconsin, but it's been warmer than we have dealt with over the last couple of days. So joining us to talk about that now is our weather expert, Holly Baker. Can you hear me, Hal?
I can hear you, Sam.
Excellent. I can hear you too. How's it going?
It's going good. It's another Happy Holly forecast. You know where I'm going to be for the show.
Weather deck all day long. Don't even stop by the weather office. Just go out to the weather deck.
Yeah, it's nice out there. 81 degrees for us right now, Sam.
All right.
And I do believe we have a little more warming up to do before this day is actually going to be over. We're 81, feels like 81, and dew points are lower too, so that makes it even better outdoors because it's not feeling so sticky and uncomfortable. Wind is from the south currently. That's bringing in a little bit of heat, and that's at about 9 miles per hour. As we look really across the entire area here, what you're noticing is that everybody is feeling nice and comfortable with those dew points. Burlington may be the only spot where it feels a bit sticky because their dew points are in almost the mid 60s. They're right at 64 there. Everybody else looking to be good, also to feeling good outdoors. Now let's take a look at those temperatures. We're really staying close to that 80-degree mark. Some areas in the upper 70s. Burlington, again, you are in the mid 80s. You're at 86 degrees. We're seeing those 80s as well, lower 80s, and that's for as far out as Madison. No lake breeze right now to really tamper with our temperatures, and then some of our northern communities in the upper 70s. As we head throughout the rest of today, we are going to warm up just another couple degrees before temperatures start to drop as we head towards the evening tonight, and then we'll get to the 70s before midnight, and after midnight, that's when we're going to be falling to the 60s. We'll have a rather warmer night ahead of us here as we'll stay in the upper 60s for majority of the night. We're keeping conditions nice and quiet too tonight. We're going to be nice across the entire state. That's good news for us because if you got activities to kick off your weekend, you don't have to worry about rain stopping it. But we do got rain that is going to be on the way, and we definitely need that rain because, I mean, look at the drought conditions. The drought monitor came out yesterday as an update. We have a lot of areas that, especially in the northern communities here, those areas are looking to be just a tad bit worse than, really extreme, I should say, not even worse. They're extreme for those areas in the northwestern communities across the state. Closer to home here, we're seeing some areas without drought. We also see some areas where it's just abnormally dry. And then our northern communities, Fond du Lac County and Sheboygan County, a little bit more on that moderate drought. Now, as we head into the rest of tonight, you'll notice that those clouds are going to start to increase late tonight into early Saturday morning. For the most part on Saturday, we are looking to be dry, but we could see maybe a scattered shower or two. That's going to all change, though, as we head towards the afternoon. This is around noon. We start to have that rain that moves in. It's no severe weather that we're expecting. Really just going to be some rain, some showers at times where it could be a little bit more on the moderate side. That's going to pass through for really the duration of the afternoon. We start to get a little dry time later on Saturday night, but then it picks back up again heading into Sunday's forecast. So Sunday we could have a chance for some scattered showers and possible thunderstorms. That could be likely, but that should hopefully all be out of here by the time we make it to the lunch hour. But we can plan on more of that rain to continue towards the afternoon on Sunday, as well as Monday, Tuesday, and perhaps Wednesday too. We get a slight chance. You also notice those temperatures start to warm up as we got a heat dome. So a dome of heat is going to be pushing into our area by the start of next week. So I hope you are ready. Yes, summer would be over, what most people would classify as over because it's the end of August. But we're starting September coming strong with the heat, guys. So honestly, summer's not over in my opinion. We still got it a little longer considering we're getting 90s back in the forecast, Sam.
Yeah.
I know. I'm ready for fall at this point.
Yeah.
I'm just ready for fall. Not the cold part of fall, but that crisp feel. Maybe a vest. Maybe.
Speak my language.
Mm-hmm.
I knew you were going to get there too. I could see exactly where you're mapping this out. I'm like, here it comes. Here comes the vest word. But you bring up a good point, because I think people measure the end of summer in probably 3 different ways, right? There's, okay, when does school start? When is Labor Day, which is not this weekend, it's next weekend. It's late this year, September 7th. And then also is it the meteorological calendar?
Yes.
And I don't know when that actual end of summer is either, but
it's September 21st is when it technically
So that's
ends.
really far off. So the fact that we're still seeing 90s as kids go back to school next week isn't necessarily out of the norm, right?
Yeah, not necessarily out of the norm. Now, I feel like if we're in October and we see 90s, to me, that's when it is officially out of the norm. So maybe late September into October, it's going to be completely not normal to see these 90s in our area. I mean, we look at our almanac too, though, Sam. Our average high temperature around this time of year is supposed to be around 79 degrees. We're above that. We're in the 80s. We're at 81 right now with temperatures. We do have more 80s that are going to be in the forecast over the weekend, and then 90s. So honestly, right now, temperatures are just kind of wonky anyways.
Yeah.
Just across the board. We've had a very interesting summer, to say the least, especially with all of the storms. And it started off, I mean, in April. April was the start of all of the madness. And it's like we have not caught a break the entire summer. We know when it heats up, there's going to be some type of storms that comes with it. Very rare that we get a day this summer where it was just hot and no storms.
Right.
So
there's been a lot of caffeine consumed in the weather office and in the newsroom by people going and chasing those storms. So no, I've been done that. But okay, looking at your 6-day here, I'm seeing 4 days of chances of rain and storms. And for people that don't know, the drought monitor is updated on Thursdays, correct?
Yep.
So from what we're looking at, it's a little bit early, but from what we're looking at, do we see enough to affect that drought monitor there, or is it, just going to be more the same in terms of what we're seeing with the drought?
Okay, my honest opinion is that I don't believe we're going to see major improvements with this rain. And I say that because we have a chance for storms, right? But it's going to be more of a scattered type of vibe. It's not a widespread, continuous downpour that we would actually need. It's rain around this time, but it's going to be scattered. So one little area, one little town could be dry because that thunderstorm's not over their area. And if that is where we're still seeing some drought conditions that are not improving, it's not going to improve. So in my opinion, yes, this rain is going to be helpful, but I don't believe that that's going to solve our drought conditions. We're going to need widespread rain. I'm talking a full-blown washout for maybe an entire week. And then I do believe at that point, we will start to see the improvements. But because we got the chance for more of a scattered type of shower, I don't believe that we're going to get enough rain that actually kind of helps the conditions.
No, it makes perfect sense. The chance of showers is not the kind of steady, slow rain that soaks into the yards, the crops, the plants, et cetera, to be able to change those conditions. Last thing I got for you, we got Packers tonight. We got high school football tonight. You showed there's not really any rain on the radar, on the satellite and radar, so that's great news. But a lot of times at night it can get cold in the summer. Are we looking at a situation where if people are going to games, they maybe want to consider sleeves, or is it just going to be warm throughout the rest of the night?
I wouldn't say it's going to be warm throughout the rest of the night, but I do believe it's going to be similar to what we've already experienced the entire summer. Low temperatures dropping to at least the lower to mid 60s. So if that right there makes you cold, maybe bring in a little blanket to sit on the sidelines. But personally, just to put a little perspective out there, Sam, I am from the South, and I feel like I can get away with being outside in the 60s without a jacket. Maybe like some type of sleeves, a quarter sleeve, but I think other than that, you'd be fine with jeans or something of that sort. But if you're a person that just gets really cold, then you may want to add just a little bit of a layer, maybe a light jacket. But I think a light jacket would really be all that you need. I don't think you need more than that. And based on the timing of these games, especially high school games tonight, I don't think we'll be dropping to our lowest point. Our lowest point of temperatures won't really arrive until early tomorrow morning. So we're talking 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock in the morning is when temperatures are going to be at their lowest. I can almost guess that temperatures around the game time are going to be at least in the 70s. So I honestly think everybody should be okay.
Okay, real quick, are you saying you're acclimated now?
I am acclimated for sure.
Where's the breaking news graphics? Can we get those in here?
Breaking news.
Dun, 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 dun. Holly Baker, our favorite Southern meteorologist, is used to the Wisconsin weather.
I am, because I'm not used to the Southern weather anymore. I like the burned up 2 weeks ago in Atlanta and going home. I'm like, I'm sweating with the air conditioner on.
You and me, we're the same. We are the same. All right, Holly Baker hanging out for us on the weather deck all night because it's a beautiful night. Again, perfect indication of how it's going to be just looking at where Holly is in the weather office or on the deck. I appreciate you. We'll see you on the air at, what, 4?
Yep, 4 o'clock. You got me.
See you in a bit. Thanks, Hol. So there you have it. If you got plans tonight heading out to football games, whether it be the Packers preseason, high school football, or, I don't know, maybe just enjoying, again, what could be the final weekend of summer for a lot of folks, there is good weather in the forecast for you there. We're going to step aside for a quick break. When we come back, we're going to be talking to a doctor about some important new developments, I believe, when it comes to pancreatic cancer and a pill related to that. Stay with us. You're watching the Wisconsin Live Desk.
This is the Wisconsin Live Desk.
Sam Kramer back with you. We have crossed the 3 o'clock threshold here with you until 4 o'clock. Maddie Stelk will be taking over at or around 3:30. And one of the stories that we have been following this week is important research that has resulted in the development and groundbreaking, actually FDA approval, of a new drug for advanced pediatric cancer. And joining us to talk about that today is Dr. Jeremy Kratz from UW-Madison. Doctor, thanks so much for joining us here on the Wisconsin Live Desk.
Thanks so much for having me.
Absolutely. So we say groundbreaking, everybody sees the highlights or the headlines or what have you, but why is this pill for pediatric cancer, or excuse me, pancreatic cancer patients, not pediatric, pancreatic cancer patients, why is this so revolutionary?
Yeah, so this pill blocks a target called KRAS, and KRAS has been really the linchpin, kind of the center part of pancreatic cancer and many GI cancers, and something that we haven't been able to target. So whereas historically we tried drugs and they couldn't quite bind to this protein, we found a new way to really block the signaling of this, and it's doubled the survival as compared to chemotherapy. in patients who are considering this as a second treatment option. So when we think about treating pancreas cancer with chemotherapy, we really know kind of what those bounds are, and here we're effectively doubling that opportunity, or doubling the amount of time in the second line setting, where patients can get more time, and also they get excellent quality of life. Their quality of life is improved relative to the way they feel when they're on chemotherapy. So kind of a win-win in both more time and better patient-reported outcomes. It's probably a little bit of an overstatement to say excellent quality of life. I think there certainly are side effects. There's rash, there's GI toxicities, but overall, we're really excited about being able to activate this and bring it to the clinic here soon.
If I'm not mistaken, pancreatic cancer is one of the deadliest, is that correct, of cancers?
Correct. Yep. It is projected to be the number 3 highest mortality-driven cancers. But the hard part is that for advanced disease, the ability to survive many years is quite limited. Projections of the statistics on this tell us that about 14% of patients, regardless of stage, will survive pancreatic cancer. This medicine is approved in metastatic disease after the cancer has spread. But what we're really excited about is using medicines that block KRAS in early stage disease, or seeing are there opportunities to try and cure patients by not using these just in advanced stage disease, but by using these in scenarios where the cancer is localized to the pancreas alone.
Okay. The fact that this pill then becomes available for, again, what is considered to be one of the cancers with the highest mortality, as you mentioned, the third highest, and for patients whose cancer has spread, I have to imagine that is such incredible news, given a diagnosis that doesn't have a lot of optimism that comes with it.
Absolutely. I mean, I think that since this approval, and really since the presentation of this data in June, advocates, including my partners, myself, have really raised our hand to say, this is a medication that we want available and in the hands of patients. And so we're really excited about the opportunity to officially bring it to patients. It does require a coordinated effort. My inbox is flooded with requests to make sure that we're working to get this available as quickly as we can through the authorization processes. But I think this is a big win for a disease that we really we know the molecular targets, but this disease kind of creeps up on patients. We don't have screening techniques. We don't have ways of predicting how this cancer may or may not develop. The one thing that we know is that patients who suddenly older in life develop diabetes, that sometimes is a red flag, and individuals should ask their primary care doctors does this mean something else? Because the initial symptoms are quite nonspecific. They can include a little bit of abdominal pain, maybe some bloating, but a later diagnosis of diabetes sometimes should be a red flag and something that people should talk to their doctors about. But this drug provides us an avenue to get more time for our patients.
Yeah, and time, really, when it comes to these diagnoses, is so valuable for the patient themselves, for families, and certainly for people like yourself, I would imagine, to just try and continue to treat these patients. And I think that's an important word, right? This is not a cure, as I understand it. This is a treatment option.
This is an available treatment option to get more time and to improve quality of life relative to the established standards. When I think about treating pancreas cancer, this last week on Monday, we had 5 available chemotherapies that we routinely used. Now we have 5 available chemotherapies and 1 targeted treatment that works in a very precise way, and it's available for all patients with pancreatic cancer. That's what we're really excited about. This is not something where we're just using it in a certain portion, or waiting on some tests to come back. The FDA approval includes all patients with pancreatic cancer, and that's something that we want to honor and stand by.
Can you give our viewers an idea of, okay, FDA has given this approval. What is it like for cancer centers such as yours at UW Health to try and coordinate? You mentioned a bunch of emails already, but how do you guys go about actually securing this as an option that you can provide to your patients there in Madison?
So really our pharmacists have been instrumental. They really do the groundwork to make sure we have a source of the drug. We know the process with which that goes through. We need our insurance providers to have kind of the ability through their electronic systems to review this and make sure that patients meet distinct criteria, say for safety or for the likes. But ultimately, it is at the physician's discretion for where these agents are used. I think the joy of being an oncologist, though, is also the partnerships that we have with patients. And so certainly the patients that I treat are aware that this is something where we had the FDA on a clock. I mean, we were expecting 30 days from the time that this was submitted, and this is an agent that was part of an extended access and kind of an accelerated review process with the FDA, and they delivered. They made a determination, they reviewed the totality of the data, and that allows us to put it in the hands of our patients. We're really glad that they decided when they did, because there are individuals at home who may be listening to this or have a loved one who are intimately affected by pancreatic cancer, and that's important. It's really important that we honor patients at every stage in their disease, and this gives us another tool to combat it with.
Absolutely. And last question I would have, I think by now all of us know somebody or knows somebody that has cancer, regardless of what form it is. I think a lot of people have an idea of the difficulties of chemotherapy and what it can do to the patient and also their immediate family as far as who's caring for them. So the fact that something that isn't chemotherapy comes available, how important is that for patients, for families, for providers to just have a different option?
Yeah, so on the provider side, there are practical things that happen in advanced cancers like infections or sepsis is a real serious bloodstream infection that can occur. We're really glad to see the rates of those toxicities are significantly lower with this agent. That said, there still are side effects. This is not an aspirin tablet. There are risks that include things like diarrhea, cramping abdominal pain, and skin sensitivity rash. Those types of things all kind of run together with this particular agent. And so we need to be proactive about looking for those side effects. I think from a real practical standpoint, taking your chemotherapy pill or taking your targeted therapy pill provides a great deal of flexibility. When I treat patients with this cancer, I really emphasize the importance of travel and connecting with family and friends. So the ability to take your cancer treatment in your purse and get on an airplane, can be very, very functionally helpful for patients because they ultimately can restore some of the mental health issues that also follow with this cancer. And so I think those practical realities and also not having to be hooked up to chemotherapy and have the fog of chemotherapy brain, all those things are things that the quality of life metrics from this study support that it should be used and it's the right thing to do.
Yeah, makes a lot of sense, and you bring up great points there. There's a flexibility to it that patients, I think, maybe not necessarily have enjoyed, and so to have that, again, not just as an option, but as you mentioned, as something that they can take with them wherever they want to go, makes a lot of sense. He's Dr. Jeremy Kratz with UW Health's Carbonate Cancer Center. Thanks for joining us on the Wisconsin Live Desk, Doctor.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So there, important discussion about, again, that revolutionary approval of a pill to treat advanced pancreatic cancer. Again, as the doctor mentioned, the third highest mortality of cancers. So certainly patients who have this, family members of those patients, this is, I would imagine, great news for them to hear that this is available and will soon, as we understand, be available at treatment centers in our communities. All right, we are going to step away for a quick break. When we return, we have obtained the letter that the City of Milwaukee's Election Commission sent to the Wisconsin Elections Commission, so local to state, looking back at the August partisan primary from earlier this month, talking about the issue that happened at Central Count, explaining what happened, explaining the process and how they went about it as this city agency, the city department, remains under some pretty intense scrutiny after that election, and even looking ahead to important midterms coming up in November. We'll go through that letter on the other side here. You're watching the Wisconsin Live Desk.
This is the Wisconsin Live Desk.
Stan Kramer back with you on the Wisconsin Live Desk. It is 3:17 on this Friday, August 28th. Yes, as I confirm and look down at the cameras, or excuse me, our computers here, looking at the dates. So, earlier this month, we had the partisan primary election, and the big race there was the Democratic primary for governor. Remember, this being a partisan primary, voters going to the polls had to either participate in the Republican primary or the Democratic primary. And there was talk of people deciding to go over between, if you're a Republican, going for Democrats to try and decide who Republicans wanted to run against the nominee, Congressman Tom Tiffany. We know that Milwaukee County Executive David Crowley won that election on a narrow margin, but nevertheless won that election as those two candidates are vying for the office of the governor coming up next year. But what delayed that process was another issue at Milwaukee's Central Count counting location. And I want to walk you through the process of what happened, and then the letter that we obtained today from the executive director of the City of Milwaukee's Election Commission, Paulina Gutierrez, that she sent to the Wisconsin Elections Commission. So again, what the local agency sent to the state agency, because the state agency has a lot of questions for the local agency. Why do they have questions? State law in Wisconsin requires that cities and municipalities that operate these absentee ballot processing centers known as central count to begin actually counting those ballots on election day. The city of Milwaukee over the last several years has lobbied the state legislature to try and pass a bill that would allow them to begin processing them the day before election day. Why does that matter? When you have tens of thousands of absentee ballots that you have to pull out of the envelope, ensure that they have the proper signature, that the proper things are, the bubbles are checked, that everything is good to go, there is no nefarious type of activity on that ballot, pass it on. It takes time. All of this is done by hand. Eventually, when those ballots are processed, ready to be fed, they go into a machine known as a tabulator. And the City of Milwaukee's Elections Commission deploys a number of them based on how big they estimate the election to be. For instance, in major presidential election years, they have double-digit numbers of these machines, sometimes 13, sometimes even more. For this partisan primary, which partisan primary election isn't the most, the highest turnout election in Wisconsin, is really considered to be one that really only people that really pay attention to politics tend to actually participate in. They decided to just utilize 9 of those tabulator machines. So we generally always have a camera there. We're documenting this process. Eventually, once all of the ballots have been counted, they've been run through the tabulating machines, they've been securely stored, what happens? The City of Milwaukee's Elections Commission has this kind of official process where they pull these flash drives out of a locked wooden box. They do that to ensure the security. They then plug them into a laptop to prove that they are bare, that they have nothing on them that would misconstrue or bring about illegitimacy to the counting of those ballots. So they go through one by one, plug them into the machine, make sure they're clear. Election observers can watch and see that that process is happening. And then once they are done, since 2023, they have followed a written list of procedures that was actually created by the former executive director, Claire Woodall, that goes through steps because in 2020, as the kind of nation was waiting to see Wisconsin's election results in the presidential election, once everything is done, once they have downloaded all of the data onto those flash drives, the director is to ride by police escort to the Milwaukee County Courthouse. It's a short drive. But again, just protecting the integrity, the security of the election is driven by police over to the county courthouse to then upload those results via flash drive into the county's system. Because the absentee ballot chunk from the city of Milwaukee is so vast, so large, the swinging of those votes can absolutely change the totals, who's in first, who's in second, what have you. In 2020, Claire Woodall admitted that she forgot one of the flash drives. So she had to go back to the central count processing facility, grab that flash drive, and then drive back to the county courthouse, caused a delay. In 2024, now under the direction of Gutierrez, they utilized the Baird Center for central count that day. And while they had already begun counting, I believe it was more between 25 and 30,000 absentee ballots, they realized that doors on the machines to those tabulators had been left open. So they were forced to start over the counting of those, and it caused about an hour delay. This process takes a lot of time, again, thinking about all the ballots that have to be counted. Going back to this August, what happened? The City of Milwaukee's Elections Commission Director, Executive Director Paulina Gutierrez, takes the 9 flash drives, one for each tabulator that they used in this election, over to Central Count and realized that 5 of the 9 flash drives had the wrong data uploaded to them. Instead of actually having the election results that would show who voted for David Crowley, who voted for Francesca Hong, and all of the candidates down the ticket on both sides, Tom Tiffany as well, it instead provided an audit log, which is a very technical log that shows every single button an employee or volunteer has pressed on that machine from the time that it was plugged in and ready to go. So today, the Milwaukee Election Commission in this letter said that during the subsequent review, the Milwaukee Election Commission determined that the download team led by the deputy director mistakenly selected and downloaded the audit log rather than the election results file from 5 of the 9 tabulators. Written procedures were available to the team at the time the downloads were performed and presumably, not followed in this case. Earlier in the letter, and I would like to show you the entire letter, but just take my word for it, it is long. It is what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pages long. Paulina Gutierrez explains what happened. Here you go. MEC processed 27,187 absentee ballots using 9 high-speed tabulators during the August 11th election. I want to make clear, the error described below delayed the public reporting of Milwaukee's results by approximately 1 hour, but it did not affect the security, tabulation, or accuracy of the election results, nor did the error prevent or impede any voter from casting a ballot. And that is kind of a defensive message from Paulina Gutierrez, who has worked hard to improve the efficiency. They used to do this process one by one, led either by whoever holds the office of executive director, such as herself, or her predecessors, Claire Woodall. But instead, they have broken into these 2 teams that then go about that to speed up the process, to make it more efficient. It almost went to plan, but in this case, it did not. A lot of people remember, if you're watching election coverage, from your national network of choice, one of the political analysts was stunned when he heard that Milwaukee was going to be another hour because it had been such a long night. But that is what happened. So the administrator of the Wisconsin Elections Commission, Megan Wolf, had been asking questions about this, and so this letter is kind of a response to the state's request for comment and for clarification. And so looking forward here, as I look down the letter, she continues to defend the process, saying that, look, an error occurred during the results download process. At the same time, the safeguards surrounding the election worked as intended. The discrepancy was identified, the underlying election results remained intact, the correct files were retrieved, and Milwaukee's accurate election results were ultimately reported. That being said, a process in a city that continues to be scrutinized over how long it takes to report these results, this doesn't help the image, the reputation, and frankly, the conspiracies that have come as a result of this. So that's a major political story, one that doesn't end with this letter, and certainly we will continue following that as we can. But that's a big update there from the city of Milwaukee. I'm sure our political reporter, Jason Calvi, also checking around to see how elected leaders are reacting to this, because again, major election coming in November with the midterms and also in Wisconsin the vote for governor. All right, we are going to step away for a quick break, but before we do, I want to take a live look outside over downtown Milwaukee where things are looking good. It is hot, as we see there, 81 degrees. It's a little humid, and as Holly mentioned, no rain in the forecast. Looks to be a great weekend on tap for us here in southeast Wisconsin. So a lot of things to do. We got the Packers preseason game tonight. We also have high school football games. But actually, as I'm looking at my stuff right now, is this a press conference from the Clancy trial here? Okay, let's take this and listen in here to some of the attorneys. Looks like this is Lindsay Clancy's attorney talking. Listen in.
No problem.
Any concerns with the jury going home on the weekend, looking at social media?
Again, jurors have been very, very focused. I think they listened to the judge, and the judge has been forceful in his instructions. So I have to believe that they're going to be fine.
Kevin, the longer this goes, does that bode well for you?
I've had him out for an hour. I've had him out for a week. I don't know. I don't know.
Why do you think they wanted to see the knife?
I could say I'll go in the room and I'll ask them and I'll report back to you. I don't know. You know, I don't have access to the jury room. What's that?
What do you read into that request?
The curb's coming, guys.
Curbs, guys. Curb. Don't even tell them. Let them fall off the curb.
You've been looking out for me all week. Come on, give me a break.
Watch out, guys. So, what's your take of day 2 of the deliberation, Kevin?
Day 2 of what?
Deliberation.
They're working hard. It's been a 5-week trial, so you got to expect it. It's 290 pieces of evidence, or 293 something.
Mr. Reddington, would you have preferred that this jury be sequestered?
No, it takes them away from their family. They have lives too, you know. I mean, and I have no reason to believe that they don't listen to the judge and listen to his instructions.
Even with how big this case has turned out to become?
The press reporting is just so accurate that I don't worry about it.
Because the amount of evidence you expected this deliberation to take some time?
Where's the barrier?
It's like right there, I think. Okay.
What the hell is
Hell yeah! Make the Salmon Witch Trials great again!
Sell the grant!
Make the Salmon Witch Trials great again!
Sound it good, buddy!
You flew all the way here to talk about the witch trials, you Nazi! He is a Nazi! He had a sign.
Hey guys, Maddie Stelk just getting logged in here. We just heard from Lindsay Clancy's defense attorney after the jury was just dismissed in the Lindsay Clancy trial after nearly 10 hours of deliberation between yesterday and today. They will be back in court to resume deliberations tomorrow morning. We are going to check in with criminal defense attorney Jonathan Lavoie in just a few minutes right now, but we are going to take a quick break. You're not going to want to miss it. Before we do that, though, I do want to bring to your attention, remember, you can ask questions. We want you to be a part of the conversation here. You can scan that QR code on your screen or go to fox6now.com/connect. We've already gotten some good ones, so hopefully we can get those answered for you in just a few minutes. You're not going to want to miss it. Again, stay with us. We'll be back.